Music check. Check. Ah, that's the delay we know. And welcome to the last chapter of Desperados. This is Dice Warwick, author of Desperados. I will not be reading it to you. Sorry. To mute myself on the video so I don't hear myself. But I will be giving any commentary that Takeshy will request for this final video. And clarify any kind of information blank spots, as this is actually a fan fiction of a fan fiction and not so much of an original story. Well, original story, but based off of other people's stories, including my own. So as soon as Takeshy is back, you can, well, enjoy the last chapter.
In the meantime, I should probably get my microphone closer to my face. Let me see everything. In the meantime, and there we are. Welcome everybody. As Dice said, he is here. And Quill is here as well. Welcome. I don't know if we can hear you. Lower the music so I can hear everyone.
Yeah, no, I have to lower the volume on your video just so I don't wig myself out with my own voice. Lower the volume on your video just so I don't wig myself out.
And Quill, don't forget to put yourself on push to talk. We learned that in the hard way. I mean, I can just give you in a... It here? I don't know. People still can't see anything. So,
Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. I need to make your voice higher, but I can hear you. You are a little bit lower than Dice. But now you can actually see me as well. I'm here. Welcome. You can see me on the stream. At least you should be. So let me check. I'm not in the right spot. It's been a while. Let me check. I'm not in monster voice. Everything should be fine. People can hear me. People can hear you as well.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I'm muted if I'm not talking so I don't interrupt you too much.
Okay, I'm muting the voice inside the video because I'm getting it first from Discord, and it's just a little weird.
Yeah, it is gonna be weird if you are here. That's why I told you.
Now I know for sure that your video is delayed.
It is. I mean, we can't do anything about that. Can we?
I don't think you can do much about it, since you talking and then it goes on to the video. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some way you can actually censor your own voice as it goes through, because I know most radios do have their own delay.
I mean, not really.
But yeah, you're transmitting to the internet. That no matter what you do, there's going to be a delay.
I mean, there is definitely a delay on Discord as well, so there is no way it's actually the same time as I'm speaking.
I think I am hearing you on Discord first.
Probably yes.
Well, no, definitely yes.
I mean, in YouTube you don't really hear the voice; you see everything else. So it's distributing a lot more. But yeah, we are on the last 2 chapters of Desperados.
Yippee!
Yippee! And as Dice said, he is here. So if you have any questions from the author himself, you can do it. He can read the chat as well. And he can answer your questions. Also, good morning, Kofian. Welcome. We are a bit late, but that's fine. I can blame Slowtrot for being slow. And I'm being slow to draw him.
Laugh out loud.
Phil, can you move a little bit closer to your mic? So, should we start with the last chapter? I mean, the last chapter before the last chapter. That makes sense, right?
Do you hear me better now?
Yes, I can. A lot better. I mean, I don't know how much the others can hear you on the YouTube because you are a bit too low. I put you on maximum for now. Maximum volume. I mean, can I change Discord for you? Let me just see. Oh, not that one.
Distance so that the weight is not on my lap and cutting off blood circulation. Instead, I got this little portable keyboard on my lap here. So the distance is about the same, but I have changed Discord settings for output volume.
Okay. So, let's see.
Talk louder.
I guess we should just start with the last chapter, right?
Sure, go ahead. And I guess this way we don't have to chat.
Yeah, you probably won't hear any robotic voices. At least not from me. But the ones on YouTube probably gonna hear it. I don't even know if there's gonna be anyone talking with a robotic voice or anything. So I just simply find something random music because I haven't set this up. For Equestria, Desperados, chapter 78, the last chapter before the very last chapter. Those who are left. Sure, why not? We know that Takeshy is dead at this moment. And we are gonna follow up Melody, I guess, because she's the one showing on screen right now. Her stats.
She is the one that's left.
Yep,
I'm gonna mute myself now. Sorry.
it's fine. Up Melody. Special? Strength 3. Perception 7. Endurance 4. Charisma 9. Intelligence 8. Agility 7. Luck 4. She is not lucky. I mean, she has to be here in the wasteland. Can we call Slaughter lucky in this sense? No. He's not lucky either. But we are talking about Harp. Let's guess. Water 65, Science 80, Speech 80, Unarmed 10, and Guns 25. She is the part of this good old party. Great, good natured. Her focused on less combative skills growing up. Instead, she focused more on social and constructive skills. Small frame. Due to her small size, she has +1 agility, but your limbs are more easily crippled. 25% extra limb damage. You probably need to fix this because it's either your or her.
Oh, that's probably because it's taken straight from small frames from Fallout.
Yeah, I mean, because of her small size, your limbs are gonna be crippled. Unique trait, Blood of Platinum. As a direct descendant of Princess Platinum, Harp has a harp natural area. Harp has a harp, yeah.
Or
Harp has a natural aura of authority and power, which is both magical and social. When performing magical feats, Harp gains 2 times power boost and has unique dialogue options open to her. Learn perk, Princess Training, Charisma. That's all, just Charisma. Probably an extra stat for Charisma on her special. Learn perk, Educated. You gain 2 more skill points every time you advance in level. Learn skill, Take Charge. Sometimes just giving orders is all opponent needs to do to get things done. When Harp Melody gives out commands in combat to her friends or companions, they gain 5% boost to damage, accuracy, and critical chance. Perk, Presence. Harp commands the attention of those around her. The average pony will have somewhat positive opinion of her before even knowing her, except if they hate zebras because she has some zebra strikes and they might think that she's part of that tribe. Because then it will be somewhat negative opinion, right?
which is what you got with Spritz Cookie. With
Yep.
the yeah.
Pegasus weren't that popular either.
Oh, Yeah, that's true. I mean, none of the creatures are positive. If it's not like us, it's different. It has to be some. We have to be enemies. It's like that. Just because they are different.
Yeah, but it's the wasteland, so
Yeah,
it's
the wasteland.
just divided.
Work. Empathy. Harper's going to understand the ponies in the wasteland and knows how she must talk to them to get a favorable or negative response from them. So she knows when to use her princess voice and when to actually just get down to the level. Literally.
These are traits that some of these she's actually earned across the story, not things that she began with necessarily.
Yes, that is true. I mean, empathy is not something you learn. You either have it or not.
Well, in my experience, it can be trained to you just focus a little more on paying attention to emotions or caring about them.
I mean, yeah. It can be learned. Or can be gained. It can be learned.
Typically, though, that probably is a trait that tends to be innate or not.
Yep. I mean, if you don't have empathy to begin with, then you will never have. It just if it goes on the surface or not. I mean, every creature has some kind of empathy, right?
I have seen studies on little kids that just cannot read facial expressions when they're quizzed on which one looks happy or something like that, and they have pictures of faces. They actually randomly guess it.
I mean, that's not empathy. That's a different thing.
Yeah, no, this is actually taken off from Fallout 2, the game.
Oh.
So I think it's like it just increases your initial favorability when you talk to NPCs.
It might open up new dialogue options too, right? It doesn't say that, but I imagine it could.
I mean, it definitely does, but it's the same dialogue option, but worded differently.
Yeah, it's mainly there just to increase favorability. So when you talk to somebody new in the game, you don't have to work as hard to get them to kind of agree with you. Put it that way.
Well, like Diana Troy in Star Trek was an empath. That's like a version of telepathy, except it's only emotions. With this, you gain extra feedback. So it's not communicating outwardly your emotions. You're receiving input inwardly.
It's probably best if we move on, but let's just say it's her understanding the ponies around her more and able to adjust herself so that they are more agreeable with her.
Thanks to that, it's easier to tell who's lying to her or not.
Give me a second, I'm trying to make this a little bit lower. But sometimes YouTube is stupid and you have two volume levels. The too low and the too high. But in Fallout 2 was just about coloring dialogue options. So you can see how a person would react to it. Oh. I mean, that's basically that. That's how it's written here. Knows how she must talk to them and get a favorable or negative response from them. It's basically coloring the options.
The next trait is probably the most interesting, the most standout-ish.
Yeah, the next one is Guardian Dullahan. It's Dullahan? It's not a Dullahan?
Dullahan, but I think it just depends on how you pronounce it.
Okay. As though that itself has come to drag the wicked to the river Styx. It appeared like a nightmare. In battle, a strange headless pony in black armor will come to Harp's aid. The entity is dual wielding two revolvers that are engulfed in blue fire. The presence of this pony gives Harp an unnatural aura when around death. This greatly increases her ability to eliminate. As mysterious as the pony appears, it vanishes, leaving behind a smell of brimstone and instilling terror in those who have seen it. And that reminds me of the mysterious gunman in Fallout 4, 3, and I don't know if it's in 2 or any other ones.
It's basically the mysterious stranger, but flavor text, you can say. It's more relevant story-wise for Harp, as when the Duhan did appear, she immediately knew exactly who it was.
Yeah, it's different here because the mysterious gunman actually just appears randomly, but it seems Dullahan has an actual, let's just say it, a stance when she appears. It's near death scenarios when she appears.
Yeah. And it's mainly for those who read Dance of the Orthus, as they would know exactly how this came to be and who exactly it is.
Yeah, Harp's got this for a rather sad reason, but she still doesn't know exactly who this is, right?
Let's just say she has a very strong hunch who it is, because she recognized the guns. That was the thing, is she recognized who the guns used to belong to.
Oh.
And she's trying to deny it?
Well, I can answer this like after the story if you want.
Okay, Takeshy, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. Probably gonna be mentioned later on. Here. Formings Enforcer. Is that how you say it? Formings? Formings is Enforcer. A simple compact revolver that is easily concealed. It was once used by House Fodder, Formings. It was gifted to her for safekeeping. This revolver has plus 10% chance, critical chance, and critical damage. It's a good gun. I mean, that's probably one of the Battle Legendary add-ons.
Man, the other weapon looks hard to pronounce too.
Yeah, it's interesting words, hard to pronounce, because when you're reading, you're not actually saying them out loud.
I mean, it's not that hard for me to pronounce. It just I just didn't know if it was Formings or not.
So, like, the next one is Laulantos, the fresh maker?
I would say Lelantos, right?
Yeah, I think both words are Greek, or ancient Greek. Lephantos is a titan or wind god, where Formix is the name of a ancient instrument.
Actually, I should corrected. Lelantos, the corpse maker.
Oh.
No, this is more about wind.
It's more about wind. Prototype bolt launcher using a revolver system. This air rifle is devastating at medium range. It uses easily recovered steel bolts. It is powered by Mirage Pony magic. No other race can effectively use this gun unless they are willing to strap spark batteries to it. Isn't this strapped to the drone? I forgot the drone's name. Order, okay.
Order had 2 of them installed into it.
Yeah, with this thing, you might be able to run out of bullets, but you're not going to be running out of gunpowder.
Well, because no gunpowder needed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah. It's always good to have something that when you run out of bullets. We have seen that happen. Even in this story that they ran out of bullets at one point. I mean, it's not gonna happen with Chekhov's Promise because it randomly shoots extra bullets. But yeah, there is one extra companion which we were talking about. Order. Harp's second drone. Its VI system has evolved into an early stage AI, which is equipped with 2 Lelantos rifles. The drone can also be installed with up to 3 talismans. Order lets Harp fight without having her put herself into danger. It's not written here what he has installed.
Yeah, this is one of 3 prerequisites for her to be a true princess. Number 1 is to have a companion, that usually an animal. Number 2 is to be kidnapped a lot, and number 3, you have to sing very well.
I love
harp.
I love your number 2. That happens all the time.
Well, actually, there are several characters in this story that want to do exactly that to Harp.
I mean, yeah. Almost all of them. Almost all of them. Wants to look her up, kidnap her, or anything.
That's a rite of passages for princesses. After their first kidnapping, it's truly official.
It's... Yeah, that's really happening to all of the noble, not just princesses, princes, kings, queens, any nobility. That just happens. Because...
Celestia.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Well, that makes sense, even in real life. There could be a lot of political or financial incentive to do that.
I mean, in this, it's not just political or financial, it's magical as well. Because of her blood.
It could be for romantic reasons.
But yeah, what is Otter equipped with? What talismans? I know that he has the invisibility talisman. But what about the other 2?
Well, the invisibility talisman broke. So that got mentioned in the story. So he currently has shock talismans installed. But at this point, it doesn't really matter because they're interchangeable.
I mean, she's not gonna interchange it during this session.
Well, it's not going to come up either. So it's not a big worry. So, but just like say she has shock talismans, but as she gets more talismans, she can probably switch them out.
I don't believe that the drone has this, or nor do I think Harp has this. But tell me, Dice, if this exists, a shield talisman that creates a force field.
Probably does.
No, but that could. Yeah, no, but it could come in later in another story.
Like have a hemispherical force field like some unicorns done in the show.
Well,
I mean,
it's not. Yeah, it's not even the show, but the original story also had certain ponies that can produce magical shields.
I mean, if they can produce it, it's gonna be an AT field. That's gonna be Evangelion reference right there.
If that was installed in order, it could have a lot of durability.
I mean, yes.
Maybe.
But talismans have limited uses, right?
Yeah, talismans are directly like single type use. They're like on and off switch, so they're going to be less flexible than unicorn magic. Put it that way.
Theoretically, if Order had a force field talisman, would it basically have a certain number of hit points before it runs out of quote-unquote charges?
Yes, because it would require magical energy to keep it up.
Yes.
So either it would have a timer, and as it's being hit, it would likely go out faster. And if he does it too much, he would literally just drop out of the sky because he would have run out of power.
However, Harp could recharge it, right?
Yes, but Harp would need to get to him to recharge it.
It's not something that you can just do during combat.
Yeah, the whole idea is it's a recon drone. It's not supposed to go in for heavy combat. It's supposed to just fly in there, look at area, maybe zap something, and then come back.
I mean, the two Lelantos being installed is just Harp's newfound idea as well, so...
So yeah, that was why it was originally equipped with invisibility, huh?
Yep.
Yes.
It's basically a scout drone. I mean, that's how you can use the Viper dogs, right? I forgot that names either, as well. The ones that Star has.
You mean the Night Stalkers?
Yeah, the Night Stalkers. Viper dogs. I mean,
Kind of, yeah.
yeah, they are even more used for attacks, for stat attacks, because they have the poison. But I mean, I have a question. How does the stats work? The stats talisman. I know it's not in Sasha right now. It's not working. It's broken. But if it's fixed, does it stop the noise that the drone makes? Because it definitely has some noise when it's flying.
No, from what I remember, what I put in for Dance of the Orthus, for like full invisibility, it requires several talismans: invisibility and a mute talisman mainly. Mute meaning, quiets your own.
Okay,
sound.
you need a mute talisman as well. Okay, that makes sense.
So originally, Order would have had a mute talisman and a invisibility talisman, along with a shock talisman for defense. And that would have been the general setup for it.
Something I do recall that Order has, and potentially had this before when it was first built, was a telekinesis talisman where it could pick up and manipulate objects. I've never been clear on the weight limit.
It depends on the quality of the talisman, I would say. Because Harp's Pitbuck has one installed in it, and Slowjet has a crude version of it installed in his.
I mean, does Slowthroat actually use it at any point?
Very rarely, because it's, as I said, it's very crude. So when in his original store he would use it, and it was very clumsy. Within like a few times when he used the gun with it, the gun would literally just knock itself out of its grasp.
Oh yeah.
Plus, he's an Earth Pony, so he'd be more used to doing it the Earth Pony way.
I mean, yeah, when magic goes out, when magic goes out, right?
Yeah.
You have to take the Earth Pony way.
Yeah.
With the telekinetic talismans, I have 3 questions about that: range, dexterity, and strength.
It would just depend on both the talisman and the pony using it. But this is getting into very technical things I'm not going to really have the proper answer for. Because if I was writing down like a rule book, I would have to kind of figure that out.
I mean, that definitely changes from pony to pony, to writer to talisman to talisman. How it works.
Order was serving drinks in the Ruffled Feather, as I recall. I think delivering a pitcher or something like that.
Yeah,
but he's probably using little claws. I think he
yeah.
was using
I
little
thought it was
claws.
using claws.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, because he was delivering like a bottle.
I mean, it can even use magnetic force to lift up with the cup.
Which, that's a disaster waiting to happen.
It is. But disaster did happen at that point. A different kind of disaster, but it did happen, right? I mean, guns were pulled out.
Are we ready to start the story?
I mean, sure. Let me find some music for this. It was just a talking music here. Just to get Harp's statistic all out.
Do you have enough to drink too?
I had, but that's nearly nothing left in this. That's fine. It's fun to talk about things. if I have to get something to drink, I can just grab it really fast. Let's see something. Sure. Dark music?
Somber.
Nah. Somber. Let's see some somber music. Do I have any? I definitely have some, but as I showed you, I don't know what is what. Quiet moment, maybe? That should be fine. The followers took Star to patch her up. They were more surprised to see that she was alive than at seeing all the blood that covered her. Same for Sothot when he showed up with a hole in his shoulder. But at least he is still alive enough to slowly trot. I know what you did there. To a medical attempt. Oh god, Jolly is here. I saw the name. I had warned Ashley many times about that this would happen, Harp. Jolly said to me as she sucked on a cigarette. Some of the smoke leaked through the holes in her neck and cheek. But she just kept on pushing, and now it's all over. I had run out of any patience that might have had after the attack on the Desperados. I could tell that Jolly knew it. Before Sothot had shown up, I told her what had happened. The old ghoul began chain smoking right there. The stress of one horrible event happening right after the next, along with getting kicked out of town, must have caught up with her. Oh, she was kicked out as well. I thought it was just the others.
No, it was because remember the mayor was looking for any excuse to kind of get rid of them.
Yeah, I mean, but it makes no. It was just, oh, I'm gonna kick you out so we can start this stupid damn festival that we are preparing for all this season. Jenny finished off another cigarette and said, "Maybe it's just me, but I think she wanted someone to kill her, to end her suffering. And take as many ponies with her as possible. She sure got what she wanted," I said with a laugh. I sipped on a sparkle cola as I looked over the horizon. The sun was finally peeking over. It painted the land in pinks, reds, and orange as the blue sky slowly returned. All the fighting and anger had kept me going up until now, but exhaustion had finally caught up. The caffeinated drink was the only thing keeping me going. Charlie lit another cigarette. She placed it in her mouth and puffed. "At least it's over. For what good that's worth. At least I can at least tell her what happened. No, even her power in the NCR has its limits. With her husband, Calamity, running for president, I have no doubt they will be forced to have an opinion on what happened here. They will likely have to denounce you three as outlaws, otherwise they would risk becoming marginalized right before an election." Yeah, that's true. They have to do what they have to do. I mean, it's not just like they have to denounce you as outlaws. You are outlaws. You escaped the prison. You broke down the prison cells. I understood politics well, even though my family stood above all others. My mother still had to placate the mayors and the other ponies with power. She would tell my siblings and I that if the royal family ever lost favor, there would be a convenient, pleasant reward waiting to put a new dictator in charge. In that respect, even in the wasteland, that had not changed, except now I was an easily disposed of an outsider. It's a good thing that we are leaving as soon as possible. I got my own political fuckery back home to deal with. It's time I got my hooves far away from this from this one as possible. I then sighed. I'm going to miss you a lot. She looked at me with a sly grin. Yeah, it's been a thing. That's for sure. Let's hope we get to see each other again under better circumstances. A small sigh smothered my mother. Yeah, I can only hope. Hope is sometimes all we have. So maybe it's the only thing that's been keeping Equestria alive all this time. I know that I've lost everything but hope for the longest time. So don't stop hoping. Maybe that day will come. Charlie told me, as before she finished off her cigarette. She let it drop, stomped it out. After that, she headed off to one of the tents. Living at the camp, several of the petrified Desperados who could be saved had been brought over to be treated. The followers themselves were absolutely stunned to see how we used that magic to save those lives, but I was unwilling to give up the talisman to let them to them in case I ever needed it again. Still, it took a little weight off my shoulders to see those ponies finally recovering. But to save the rest, it meant trotting off to the lair of a monster who had their hooves in the creation of wasteland itself. A pony who harmed my ancestors and is still hurting ponies today. Yet, that was still far away and not yet a concern. No, not yet. Oh, harp! Soft hooves wrapped around me in warm embrace as cloudy sunrise buried her face into my side. I thought I would never see you again. I looked at my mare friend. It's been a while since she saw her. I had not seen her for so long. Yes, just what I said. So long was painful. But now that the pain faded in this very moment, Cloudy, I miss you. She let go of me and gave me a stern look. You know how worried every pony was for all three of you? Then the news about the NCRCF came through and we were shocked. Those two jackasses said you let the prison riot. Well, they did. Wait, Stone and Rock are still alive? Talk about the dumb luck. I said in genuine surprise. Oh, better keep them out of the brothel. One of them gave a zebra friend of mine an STD. Cloudy frowned for a moment, then laughed. It sounded like she was under a lot of stress, only for it to be lifted. Yeah, we know. Again she hugged me. Please tell me you are saying. I know you can't, but just tell me everything will go back to normal. It won't. I hugged her back, but couldn't bring the words to say it. It was one lie I just couldn't say. Not to her. I wanted her to have hope. Desperately so, but not false hope. Sorry, but I can't. Things will only get worse if I stay. Not just because of ponies that will come for me, but also ponies that will hurt you to hurt me. So I have to leave, I told her. She squeezed me tighter. And if I demanded you stay, will you? Then others will drag her away, for better or worse. Rogue was a sprout. The sharply dressed hippogriff trotted over. He carried a plain-looking saddleback. A plain-looking saddleback? It can fly away? That stuck out like a sore hoof on him. But I can't help but to be reminded of my youth. So many goodbyes with so many hands. Lovely hands.
That saddlebag runs on diesel fuel.
Yep. I'm pretty sure you want to say plain. With AI. Yeah, it's spelling. I'm used to it by now.
He can English.
And you know, I'm just teasing. Kelly finally let me go and stared at her boss. Not the time. I placed a talon on her shoulder. Concern was on his face. Sorry, just trying to say that I understand. It's not like you will never see each other again. The Equestria of Islands is a big place. but not as big as you think. I bumped into many creatures I thought I would never see again. Some I wish I didn't. With a long sigh, Cloudy relaxed. She opened her eyes as though wiping away her tears. I guess I knew this was going to happen someday. I just wish it was not such a mess of parting. Buttersprout glanced back at town. A mess is an understatement. He then lifted up the saddlebag with a wing and placed it next to me. Never did get to pay you for the good work you did for us. Also, Star as well. It has not been easy without her keeping order. I mean, it's not Star who is keeping order, it's her. But that's a different kind of order, right?
Very much so.
Looking inside, there were clothes, a bag of caps, and several bottles of booze. There was even a picture frame with photograph of the staff. Star stood alongside with other workers. I may be a shrewd business hippogriff, but Star is still family. A frightening and dangerous pony, but still family. Explained before pointing out. Both your dresses are here. I also had 6 bottles of our top shelf in-house herbal vodka. It should last you a while if you drink responsibly. If not, it's gonna go away in 1 hour. Fat luck that is going to happen, Star said as she trotted out of a nearby tent. My friend was covered in bloody bandages and was chewing on some sort of jerky. She looked like she had not been shot 10 times. Cloudy jumped, tackling Star into a hug. The smaller mare barely made Star budge. Why must you keep getting yourself in trouble? She sobbed. Star patted Cloudy on the head. Because trouble finds me. But I'm not. But I'm sorry that I worried you. You better than well be. An angry Rusty Cleaver shouted as she scurried to Star, followed by a shocked-looking brass chain. Both their fours groggily trotted behind, only to find energy when they saw Star. Once that happened, they zipped past their parents. The fluttering of wings drew my attention as Longstride and Gyrojet planted nearby, carrying that in their talons were both their children and the heavy-looking saddlebag. With a big smile, Star beamed as she said, "So you're bringing every pony just for me?" Longstride sighed as she put the sound down. Even if that wasn't true, I still needed you to deliver some supplies for us. Have some of the griffins pushing the trailer over right now. Both the young griffin hybrids rushed over to Star, giving her a hug. They clearly understood that she was leaving as they held her tight. Under her smile, I could tell that Star was hurting inside. Up until recently, this was her home, and all of them were... No, they are her family. If it was possible, I would tell her to stay. To the ponies who love her. It was unfair that she had to leave. Unfair that the wasteland took one of the most important ponies in her life from her. I mean, she was planning to leave beforehand as well. Or both. The only reason she stayed was her family. I mean, not just, but all of them are her family, so it was basically just her family. Star embraced the fours in a big hug for a long moment before letting them back down. Her box slunk to her tighter than the others, and Star had to gently peel her off. I know, Star acknowledged sympathetically. I'm going to miss you, how adorable you are, but please be strong. Wyatt is going to need you and your brother. A family must be strong for each other, and I know that Gunhunters are stronger than any griffins in this wasteland. Wait. Is she gonna leave Bridget here? That sounds like it. I mean, now that she has a lot of choice.
You'll find out.
But yeah, that sounds like she wants to leave Bridget here. She turned to Copperfire and nice step. Both of you as well. Good friends are worth more than all the caps in the world. Like a mountain of them. Treat Bridget right, and I know she will treasure you. Star, what are you all about? Longslide asked. She got up, and a crack in her smile now betrayed the sorrow she must be feeling. Longslide, I want you to look after Bridget for me. I can't take her with me. Not where I'm going. Longslide squinted at Star. Concern was barely visible on his face. And where is that? She took a deep breath as she tapped forward, where the force couldn't quite see her face. Her expression turned to a cold determination. A friend wants me to go home, so I'm going home to see them. It's not a place for a good force like Bridget. Oh. Longslide didn't respond for several seconds, then slowly nodded. Dad always told me it's best to throw out your own garbage, no matter how old it is. So when you are done with that, you better come back here. You are her only mother, and I have long lost faith that my stupid brother will ever return. A true and happy smile formed on Star's face, along with tear in her eye. Thank you. Thank you so much. We are family, Star. It's what we do. Longslide told her. A clunk near me drew my attention to Gyrochat, who dropped the saddlebag next to the one Watersprout had left. Inside one bag was an ammo box. In the other was what looked like some tools and mechanical parts. Longslide will never admit, Harp, but he was worried sick about you. So much that he worked on the ammo press just to distract himself. Gyrochat informed me as she pulled out one of the tools. We got a lot of spares, so these old tools are no loss to us, along with the extra parts for the smuggler's workbench. I think of it as a part of your payment for the job. We also packed most of Star's things, what little she had. It's mostly jewelry and a few magazines.
Imagine opening a present and inside is a box of bullets, and you're just thinking, oh my goodness, that's just what I wanted.
I mean, in the wasteland, that's what you need.
Hey, if it was the Metro series, that's just giving them money.
I mean, yeah. But you can't just give them money, right? You can't shoot caps, can you? I mean, only if you have a the trash gun.
Maybe.
But they don't. She reached out and patted me on my head, ruffling up my mane a little. You did a lot for us. It's amazing that the time has been so short. Take care of my husband's baby, but don't be afraid of giving a few more sketches. A bump on my flank was followed by Cloudy, resting her head on my shoulder. The mare made a little motion for us to move a bit away from the crowd before trotting off herself. I keep that in mind, Gyrochat, and I hope your foal or chick, your baby comes out healthy and happy. I told the griffin. They followed Cloudy. Looking back, I saw Star giving Breastchain a big hug, and a few of the others laughed. Once we were far enough away that things felt quiet, Cloudy stopped. She looked nervous and downtrodden. I tried to say something to cheer her up, but she interrupted me with a kiss. Until this moment, I didn't know I needed this embrace, this kiss. I didn't want it to end, yet it had to. We both nuzzled each other for a moment longer, taking it all in. The touch, the smell, the taste. I had missed it all. Hop, I just... She was nervous as she spoke, so I held her hopes. Just say it, I'm here for you, I told her. Claudia took up the pass and said it. I want to break up. I said, sorry. What? My brain stopped, as everything went blank, with only the echoing of her words could be heard. And it makes sense. It's not that she wants to break up. Before I read what her reasoning is, I think that it's not that she wants to break up. It's basically she's cutting the chain that's locking up here to make her easier to go. Just after everything that happened, I've come to realize that I'm not ready for such a serious relationship. It was fun. Really fun. But maybe too fun. I got to thinking after you were taken away what I liked about you. And maybe what I liked was that sophisticated air you had. You were a cute pony who doesn't do crazy things. What I'm trying to... Rather stopped as I began to laugh, finding it ridiculous. So you want a princess, but not one that hunts raiders and such. She nodded slowly. When you left to deal with raiders, it reminded me of my father, and how he likely died out there all alone and wanting to come back home. I knew what she was doing, but at the same time, I could tell she was not lying. She needed a pony that could stay near her, to give her the peace of mind that one day she would not be left all alone with no knowledge of what happened to a loved one. She was also letting me go, freeing me from her responsibility to her. Yup, just what I said. Also, kind of fitting music. It's random. From here on.
Discord though, if I have the YouTube muted, I don't hear it.
Yeah, you won't hear it from here. From here on, there was nothing to tie me down to this town other than bittersweet memories. I understand, I told her. Clouded backed away, clearly trying not to cry before trotting back to the others. I don't know why, but it did hurt hearing her say that. I knew the relationship was over, and it was never that serious to begin with. But it still hurt in my heart for her to break up with me. I still didn't know if it was just love or lust, but I did know that I cared for her, leaving her also left an emptiness in my heart. So I sat there, looking at the sunrise, a slight breeze caressing my fur. A shuffling behind me was followed by Slaughter's asking, "You alright?" The stallion was now wearing a white long coat he found in his last time jump. The Desperados vest was under it, and the follower's armband was attached. It made him look like a high-class mad scientist. I shook my head. No, but I will be. It's just the first time I've been ever dumped, that's all. He sat down next to me. A dopey expression was on his face. Yeah, that never gets easy. But look on the bright side. Now you don't have to excuse to turn down all those ponies. I cocked an eyebrow at him. Are you serious? The other chuckled, which caused him to wince in pain. No, well, maybe just a little. I still agree that you not wanting to bet convict, but we are going to be wanted ponies now, aren't we? So it doesn't matter all that much anymore. Looking back at the sunset, I chuckled a little as well. No, it doesn't. Still, I have standards, so no fucking way I'm going to act like Star. Oh, Star spoke up from behind us, and she turned over and sat down on my side. Says the little man who wanted to hear all about how I got dominated by 2 zebras. Even watched the video, but yeah, it's not a good idea to act like me. I'm not that smart. She looked to Slaughter. She turned to Slaughter. The happy look on her face diminished. I heard about that extra. There is still a chance she can be saved, he reported with a sigh. A request from all those ancient tales, Star commented. Added. Feels like it. Maybe we will save a princess along the way. They both looked at me and then laughed. Because she is the princess.
Well, there's her older sister, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns out this princess was in this castle.
Are you sure about that?
Harp's right there in front of them.
I mean, yeah.
Now she needs to bake a cake for Mario.
I mean, it's no kissing. Wait, bake a cake? After a long moment, we got up, knowing it was time for us to go. Most of the police that had come to say goodbye, 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 had already begun to leave. Luckily, they knew if they stayed for too long, they too will be tried to what we did by association. As we started to the smuggler, several of the Desperados were standing around as the gun hunters were attaching a trailer to the back of the vehicle. Not far was the other trailer of the Desperados. The Desperados had been hoarding for the gun hunters, finally completing the deal the two had made. Talking with Longslide was Eldaric Papa, when the ghoul Arras saw us. He smiled and waved us over. So, I hope this war is over. Oh, it's not him talking, it's Star just made an impression. So I hope this war is over? I asked the other ghoul. As Desperados yourself, I can say you have honorably delivered the revenge we craved, and without innocent blood spilled by our hoofs. I was calmly sad, with a smile. Though the cycle of hate will likely keep spinning, it's good to know that for now, our hooves are clean. Longsight huffed as he got off the smuggler. Though I wish I could have seen Ashley be dragged to Ancia Court, but truthfully, I'm just glad that and the rest of the gunrunners can move on. And maybe with Ashley now gone, things can calm down. He pointed to the back of the smuggler. We made sure that the workbench was finished. You should be able to safely press your own ammo as well as clean and modify any guns you get your hopes on. Treat my baby well, and she will take good care of you. Thanks again, Longslide, I told him as I looked on a ride out of here. I hope you are? I hope your business will flourish. A crooked grin formed on his face. No need to hope, other than the NCR wanting me to make their own smuggler. We also have an order for making more service rifles. Even without a town, we will get by. I turned to Arras. The ghoul was looking over at some of his new required clanmates. So, what's next? He sighed, turning his gaze over at me. We bury our dead, and hunt down the supply cases you pulled out of blue skies, while the others back up. Then we finish scavenging the town and stable before heading north. Shouldn't take more than a day. I doubt any pony will give us problems.
That gun is a problem without Harp though, right? I mean, if Longslide does make another.
Yeah.
Well, he would most likely just use normal ballistics, or
They can still modify it, and they can still use spark batteries.
Yeah, if Harp's going, then that gun is in the best hooves.
Yep. I mean, it's definitely made for her.
yeah, and I don't think he's in all likelihood he's not going to make another of that kind of gun. Instead, it's just going to be normal energy weapons that they'll be selling.
I mean, it probably won't even have a gun nest. They just said that they want another smuggler. They didn't say that they want a gunner nest in the top.
Park was helping recharging some of their machines, right? If she goes, are they really still all right?
Spark batteries will last a long while. So she just recharged what they already were using.
Yep.
But that'll be their last supply.
What? Funny thing, Robot Cleaner just grabbed a crap of me. I was working from home today and forgot what that thing has a schedule. Sorry for laughing for that, but that's funny. But yeah, that happens to me as well with the doggos. They don't have a schedule, but they randomly decide to run inside and have fun of things. Now they are in the other room, but sometimes they just run behind me and start clutching my leg or just basically lie on my leg for no reason. So yeah, I know the feeling when something starts to move behind you. It's even worse for me because I can sometimes see what's behind me from the camera. But I can see just... I don't know when it was. I think it was on Twitch when that bear right there actually fell down from the chair, and I literally jumped. Because I didn't know what was that. I just saw something moving behind me. But yeah, that happens. It's funny. We can laugh at it. It happens to everyone.
Alright, let's move on.
But yeah, then that's it. It's time to go, I said. The words I spoke felt both heavy and hollow. The time always comes, Aras said as he started trotting to the other Desperados. Trust me when I say this, Harp. An ending is never just the end, but simply the time for a new story to start. That I can agree, Aras said from the smuggler's passenger seat. I started getting used to him appearing like that, so I was only startled a little. I guess Azor is a little robot cleaner in this story. He just appears from nowhere. The locker cleared his face class, in a way that sounded a bit happy. Though I would love to see how this town will change. So, we do have places to be. I have a feeling that there will be far more interesting stories to experience out there anyway. They scooted over to give me a room and to board the smuggler. Getting on, I placed my boat launcher in its vehicle holster and made myself comfortable. It was strange to in the smuggler again. To be in the smuggler again, or sit in the smuggler again. After such a short time, it was like I was now where I was supposed to be. And in being there, or being here, things were going to be alright.
She should say engage.
Engage?
Well, like what Picard does when they need to get on the move.
Oh, yeah. So they turned on the engine. Star Shuttle climbed into the gunner's nest. But before we could go, the cry of a young filly stopped us. Oh god. Mommy, don't leave me! Bridget cried out as she growled, hoped, and flew into her mother's arms. Don't go! Star held her daughter tightly. I'm sorry, baby, but I can't stay. Then take me with you! Bridget sobbed. Star sobbed as well. I can't. It's too dangerous. But I'll be good. I won't do anything bad again. The filly pleaded. You never ever had been a bad filly, so don't say that. Star said through her tears. That's This only means Bridget cry more. But why are you leaving? I don't want you to go. I don't want to be alone. Star gritted her teeth. I'm sorry, baby. Longsight flew over, ready to take his knees. Throwing her daughter's head, Star told her, Mom is going on an adventure. Another adventure. I'm going to punish some really bad pony. Oh, that's Star.
Star.
I realized it that well, you said it. Mom is going on another adventure. I really thought that it was Longsight talking to her.
Yeah, I can see the transition how it works.
I'm going to punish some really bad ponies. So be good for me. Be good for your aunt and uncle. I will return and I'll tell you all about it. I will bring you some souvenirs. I don't want souvenirs. I want you, Mommy. Bridget again pleaded. I know. And I want to be with you too. More than anything in the world. Star said through her tears as she pulled Bridget off her. But the bad ponies that hurt her mom, hurt grandma, and they will hurt you too. Wait, her mom?
Yeah, just writing error.
That's my. I don't. That's the only word that's not in it here. But the bad ponies that hurt mom, hurt grandma, they will hurt you too. If I don't go and punish them, I promise I will return to you. Even if I have to return this wasteland red, we will be a family again. Mommy! I can't do that voice. Don't even try. But it screamed as long as I took her. The filly struggled with all her might as she flew back. I watched the star buried her head into the Eternus, still sobbing. I reached out to her. Star, it will... Shut up! She quietly growled. Let go! Let just go! Sitting back down, I let my friend quietly sob as Smuggler slowly lurched forward and drove away. The cries of Bridget faded the further away we got, eventually drowned out by the smuggler's engine. Ahead of us, for now, was the sunrise, and behind us was the past. A town built from the scavenged ruins of the old world. It sought a new future. In this cursed wasteland the ponies of old made. It was filled with good ponies and bad ponies. It had those who had struggled to get by, and those who made others struggle. It had ponies I loved, and those I hated. It is a place we could never return, since we left it with bloody hoof prints. No, you will have to return. At least Star will. New Appaloosa, for the Lightbringer, was her first stop in the wasteland, where her existence as a hero started. For others, it's a place in a story, of which they may one day visit. For those who live here, it is simply home. And for us, it was the place we had to leave to truly begin in this long adventure. A gateway to the wasteland, and the promise of a new life left unfulfilled. Follow the Desperados. Follow Desperados Equestria, yeah. Follow Equestria Desperados. The end. Is it truly the end? No. It is just the end of beginning.
Are you gonna finish the epilogue? It is one of the shorter chapters, except for maybe some of the intermissions.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. But before I do that, I'm gonna clean up my tears. I don't see them showing up on the stream, but I can feel them.
He kind of choked up while trying to read the end there.
Yeah, I did. I can't do anything against that. I mean, it's a sad story, so obviously. And I'm gonna get something to drink if I continue.
All right, we'll be here.
Be right back.
How you doing, Dice?
All right, I'm back. I just had to use the bathroom.
And I'll repeat myself. How you doing, Dice?
Same old, same old. Working on my next story. Fairly far into it. Finished doing a quick little art thing.
It can be hard to predict this while in the middle of writing it, but do you have any impression about approximate percentage of how far through the story you are?
For the current one, I'd say I'd have to be around maybe halfway to more than halfway done. Because like I've finally got to the part where the main character is taking on the villains. So like 1 of 4 have already been taken out, and it's just currently in a long rest chapters where a bit more is explained and all things get to settle down. But it's not really, the chapters aren't as preset as I did with Desperados, so it's a bit more nebulous.
Okay. Some of the early descriptions of the story got me thinking that this character might be more reactive than active. But what you
You're
just
talking about Wastelander's Tale, right?
yes,
Uh, yeah, no, this character is very sheltered and ignorant of the situation she's getting herself into. So she's going to definitely be, at the beginning, a lot more reactive. She's going to be more following what others kind of tell her to do or tell her to go. And as the story goes on, she's going to kind of break down and be built back up and eventually start taking more and more control of her actions.
that reminds me. This is actually something that makes sounds unusual about the situation. How is the character um innocent? The fact that she's so naive indicates that the last place she came from is Disneyland innocent.
Uh, no, you're talking about Lottery for my new story, and how she's innocent is that she's never actually had to deal with the worst of the wasteland. Her family had moved so far out in the middle of nowhere that she's never seen a raider, she's never seen a slaver. Most of the large beasts she's only seen from a distance. Uh, and the only community she knows is her own family. So she's literally had a happy but boring life. And this is why she goes out in the wasteland thing, imagining everything's going to be better, because she's only known what she's heard from the radio. And on the radio, she's heard, oh, everything is better. The Lightbringer has defeated the slavers, killed all the raiders. stop the goddess and knock the enclave out of the sky. And she hasn't. Yeah.
The place she came from has a pretty good deal of clean food and water.
Yes, this is. You can actually look up the first chapter right now, because it's. I've already put it out, but it's literally described that her parents had worked years to create a little bit of paradise, where they have clean water, fresh food. They go hunting every now and then, but in this little pocket in like the middle of nowhere wasteland, is actually green and healthy, and the ponies there are actually living happy lives.
That sounds like the best case scenario I ever heard from the wasteland, at least from your stories.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why her parents moved as far out of in the middle of nowhere as possible.
In that case, I got another question. If they're that far out where nobody else can find them, isn't it too deadly to trek across that terrain? Because you'd run out of food and water before you get anywhere.
Uh, yes, this is why they don't have to deal with raiders. But she also knows how to survive. Like her father's like, okay, this is how you camp. This is how you look for food. Water. Like in the first chapter, one of the things she does is she like writes down a mental note when she's listening to the radio, and the radio is talking about, oh yeah, since the skies are clear, this whole new thing's starting to happen called heat stroke. To avoid it, you just need to bring extra water with you and drink it whenever you're starting to get really thirsty. Because this was the thing that was being mentioned in Desperados, is for a while they had to deal with a massive amount of heat stroke all over the place because a lot of the ponies weren't used to direct sunlight.
Well, that's the other thing is you can shelter yourself to help avoid heat strokes.
Yes, but they don't understand that. Because if you lived your entire life with just constant cloud cover, you don't really understand. It's like, oh, if I stand out in the sun put it this way, if you ever see a British person during a sunny day, and this has literally happened with like family friends that have come visit, is they would literally lay down the guy would take off his shirt and lay down in the grass to take in the sun, not understanding he's in California now. There's always sun. But the guy's from Britain where it's overcast like 95% of the year.
Okay, just let him enjoy it for a little while. To him, that is usual enough. That's maybe part of the reason for the vacation.
Well, yeah, that's why any British person comes to California. But yeah, no, the whole idea is a lot of information has been lost. A lot of the ponies in the wasteland are very ignorant on a lot of things. Like they know how to deal with the wasteland, but all the stuff that would have been known for the modern life has been lost through 200 years of chaos.
I've lived next to the ocean for almost 2 decades now, and I'm probably among the people that go there the least.
Yeah, well, that's. I don't go out in the sun, and I live in California. It looks like we're holding up Takeshy.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to your conversation. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah. Well, you have any questions?
I mean, I wasn't here the whole time. I just heard that some pony are not actually used to things.
Yeah, no, I've already put out my the news story, Wastelander Tale.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's just asking a few questions about the main character.
Oh, okay. I thought it was about this. I mean,
no.
it still fits for this as well, so...
Yeah, well, Wastelander Tale has a lot of cameos from characters from Desperados, so you get to see what they're doing like 11 years beforehand.
I mean, we can be sure that even the ponies here, they don't know what clean water is.
Well, they know what clean water is, they just don't know what bacteria is in it.
I mean, they don't know what clean water is, because they cannot be having fully clean water in the wasteland. There is no way there is anywhere.
Yeah, you have to either live in a stable or be extremely rich.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about the story or predictions about this epilogue?
About the epilogue, it could be anything. There's not.
Yeah,
I have no idea what is gonna happen in the epilogue. It's probably gonna be what happened to New Plus after. Or
yeah, there's gonna be 2 parts to it, so enough to enjoy.
I mean, we know that there are a lot of loose ends because this is just the end of beginning. This is not the beginning of the end.
With 3 evil loose ends that are still out there.
I mean, yeah, 3. Wait, which 3? Victoria. I mean, it's Quick Trot.
And Thorn.
Oh. I mean, yeah, Ashy is dealt with. But no, there is another end that we are not closed down, the NCRCF. They are not evil, but they are after them.
And Quick Trot's right there in New Appaloosa still.
No, she was just digitally there.
She was in the Blue Skies camp, wasn't she? She just visited.
Well, let's put it this way: she's not physically there because she doesn't physically exist. So it's not something they can really deal with by going in guns blazing.
And now, Clearment, the body was there that she was using. Then basically they had Slowthroat. Or was it Slowthroat or was it Harp? I don't know who had the dream about the death ponies. I forgot.
Slowtrot's the one that has the connection with death ponies.
Oh yeah, but she saw it as well, right?
Yeah.
So.
Death ponies. That would have been Victoria that saw it.
Oh, Victoria saw it?
Let's see. When it was the shared vision, it was when Victoria was using her eyes on Slowtrot, and she got to see, and her own past got mixed in with like the past being shared about.
Oh, I mixed up my memories then. I could actually swear that Squeaktrot was there as well.
Yeah. No. Of course, Quicktrot was there. So you got to see a piece from Slowtrot, you got to see a piece from Quicktrot, and you got to see a piece from Victoria.
So Quicktrot was not physically there.
Well, she's not physically anywhere.
I mean, you know that there was a pony that she took over.
Yes, the pony was there, but that pony doesn't really matter.
Oh, so basically she was there. I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
Take her down, you'd actually need a hacker. I mean, Order comes the closest to actually suppressing Quicktrot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The question is, do you actually wanna get rid of Quicktrot? I mean, yeah, she was evil, but she just wants to live, right?
Yeah. Well, I'd say once I do get started on the next volume of Desperados, you will see more of them. And definitely Quicktrot will get featured several times. Well, she'll be basically kind of ghosting them.
So let me guess, there is gonna be a volume for each villains to deal with.
Kinda. I still have to figure it out.
I don't think you are gonna deal with them all at in the same volume.
No, so I'm probably gonna try doing a shorter story for their trek up north, and then it's gonna be the war that the Desperados are dealing, where the Equalists take front and center as villains.
Wait, so now I think about it, that the Desperados were actually heading north to begin with to fight the war, but now their numbers are almost halved because most of them are injured.
Well, it's one group of Desperados. There's like several groups of Desperados.
Oh,
As they said, they have other herds, and they actually like, oh yeah, we have one that like lives a lot more secluded away from everyone else, and they're
I meant
super.
these are the Route 50 Desperados.
Well, they're all the Route 50 Desperados.
Wait, they are all? I thought this, all the Desperados had different routes to take on.
Well, no, Route 50 is like a trade road that is further north. They were just south because the Blue Skies brought them south.
Oh. I really thought that it's like a big clan which takes on the trade routes, and this group took on Route 50, and the other two. No, it's all of them took Route 50.
Yeah, no, I'll probably get into trying to figure out more about the different groups and the dynamics between them once there's other groups. Because I have been trying to go in my head of what kind of characters they will have to deal with. One that I think I'm going to try sticking with as an idea is one of Big Papa's descendants, which is kind of like a young tribal chief that's trying to be the war chief for this upcoming battle. And if he may or may not get involved with Harp.
As for quick trot, I mean, the only solution I can see here is one of two things. Either A, they need to get a sophisticated AI that has enough resources to deal with quick trot, or B, grant her wish, clone a body that has no other soul. She could possess it, and there's just completely no contest for it. She,
Yeah, well, here's the big problem with actually dealing with Quick Trot is you actually find out what becomes of her in Dance of the Orthus.
Oh, so she has a finale basically already.
Yeah, like Slow Trot and Quick Trot actually appear at the very end of Dance of the Orthus, since they were kind of in and out of the series through the whole story. Well, Slow Trot wasn't technically there. It's confusing.
I mean,
it's something I would have to add in if I ever had to go and rewrite that whole story.
guys, I'm saying one thing: time travel.
Yes. Well, okay, so because the time space mega spell at the center of all that. Yeah.
Because if time travel is considered in any story, it's gonna get confusing. Yeah. There is no way out of it.
Yeah, the direct tie is Photopop 4, the nightmare that made appearance when they were doing the shared memories thing. So it's like if you ever read Dance of the Orthus, you'll get part of your answer there.
Yeah, this is the problem with Fallout Equestria. It's a big series.
And and it just hasn't happened yet to this version of Quick Trot?
Yes. So it's weird because right now they're following Harp and Quick Trot are on the same kind of timeline, though Quick Trot has clearly reappeared in the Wasteland much earlier than Harp had. So yeah, no, it's just a lot of shenanigans with magic have been going on.
Magic, imagination.
Yeah, it's one of the things you always have to remind yourself. Yes, it is a Fallout-like story, but it is in the magical land of Equestria, where things can get very, very weird, very, very fast.
Is it still magical though?
And it can get that way even in a way that it doesn't tend to happen in the Fallout series?
Yes. Like, the Fallout series, things can get very weird, but there's always, like, a point where it stops, where Fallout Equestria, that weirdness can just keep on going, and it's like, why is it going? It's like, you're in the magical land of Equestria. What do you think is going on? I'll give you a hint. It begins with a capital M.
There are three things that we can say in every MLP story. That if we can't explain anything, we can say magic, time travel, or Pinkie Pie.
Or Discord.
Or Discord, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's chaos incarnate.
So, if you want to know how things end for New Appaloosa, let's get to the epilogue.
Okay. Well, that answered your question. What happens here in the epilogue? That's gonna be New Appaloosa. Okay, let me get some other music.
I'd suggest something dusty and cowboyish.
I don't think I have that on Layton. I'm pretty sure I don't have that on Layton's music.
Well, you have.
That's the closest to it.
From out of the west came a man with a quest.
So there we go. Let's go. The epilogue of Fallout Equestria, Desperados. As far as I remember, Fallout Equestria had a very good ending. Kinda sad but good. Little Pip had the possibility to spoiler character visited in her epilogue. A lot of spoilers. I mean, yeah, most of the things outside of Desperados are spoilers for me because I haven't read anything outside of Fallout. And probably the only characters I heard that are in this is Little Pip and Derpy, the Watcher. No, wait, is the Watcher Derpy or is it Spike? I forgot about that.
Spike.
Spike is the Watcher. What was Derpy's name?
Ditsy Do.
No, I mean she had a.
No, she's literally just Derpy and FOE.
Oh, okay. She's just Derpy. New Appaloosa was a lot drier than the last time I was here, but also bigger too. I wouldn't have recognized the place if no creature had told me where I was when I had gotten off the train. Okay, I don't know, it's probably a time skip. Sounds like it. You're finally here! I was getting worried that God has decided to abandon this place. Ambassador Gabriel greeted us. The former ranger reached out to hug the veteran ranger.
Just a small hint, Takeshy. Every time it goes to the I, it is male.
Okay. It might be Slowthroat, might be somebody else. The Griffin stopped the ambassador in his tracks by pointing one talon in his face. We never been that close, Gabriel, he warned. He looked over at me and pointed the mayor's office. Green Claw, go tell the fuck's mayor we are here. I have some paperwork to fill out. Shouting my superior, I turned the team of 20. I turned to the team of 20 NCR troopers that were assigned to us. Their job was to secure the stability of the town, since most of the law officers have died and the mercenaries left, so it's not slaughtered. Let's go, and don't fuck with the locals, yet. As we started down the main street, one of the little lands broke formation and matched pace with me. Say, isn't this your hometown? Got family here, right? I glared at the idiot through my ranger helmet. None of your business. But yeah, thought my old buzzard dad is alive. Oh. I think I know who it is. Well, You came back a little bit late. Your old bastard over there is liable to shoot me as soon as he sees me. No, he's not gonna shoot you anymore. Fuck, what did you do? He asked innocently. I broke a promise and ran away from my responsibility, I said solemnly. Inside the mayor's office, I could hear yelling. The police inside were clearly not having the best of times. I could only imagine how much worse they would react if they knew it was me under the mask. Looking at the troopers, I ordered them to stand outside as I went in. A poorly looking espresso was yelling at a less than hard-to-get-up Deputy Willow, the only one who survived, but both looking at least a bit drunk. Also, where the heck was Willow at that fight?
He was with his family watching the fireworks.
Oh. But he was the most reasonable one, so he deserved to leave. I don't care, just tell the NCR to fuck off out of my town. Nobody wants them here. Nobody needs them here. Espresso loudly elaborated. With all due respect, there are only 5 of us left. Even if we wanted to push the NCR out, we don't have the pony power. Willow yelled back. And how are we to know that Blue Skies would just stop and leave like that? At this rate, without the NCR, we are just one big target for every raider in the wasteland. Blue Skies left right after Star and the others left. I really thought that... Wait. Yes, that's true. They would actually leave for either Death Ponies or to follow Harp.
How ironic. The Quick Trot was trying so hard to get Slow Trot out of town, and the moment he leaves, she leaves too.
Yeah, but yeah, we know that she was thinking about things after she saw what happened in Death Ponies. You saw it, right?
It's more of trying to get him away from her.
Yes.
And yet now she's acting like this is unrequited love.
It's like, yeah, I can't live with you, I can't get close to you, but it's something that like a magnet pulling towards you.
Well, a piece of soul is in her, so...
Yeah, it's literally a piece of magnet pulling. A piece of soul, linking them together.
It is curious. I mean, isn't this town still useful to Blue Skies to sell drugs to and stuff like that?
I mean, Willow knows
stop
about the drugs anymore.
I mean, this place has less guards now, so it's even less defended. If you were to
You'd
get
have to... Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think they just left because they got some information that Harp left, the Death Ponies, I mean, Victor is the leader, so it makes sense that they would leave.
Well, you also have to remember a lot of the mercenaries also got killed by the Desperados.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and so likely, if I was going to actually explain, they would be leaving to avoid any repercussions, since they failed to wipe out the Desperados.
Oh yeah, they did that. There wouldn't be any more repercussions because the ones that ordered them are dead.
Well, here's another thing. Although Quick Trot wanted Slow Trot gone, she was also interested in Harp, although I forgot why now.
Because of her blood.
Yeah, her blood can unlock certain doors.
Yeah, okay, and Harp left, so maybe Quick Trot's chasing after her, not Slow Trot.
Yeah, that's what I said as well.
Yeah,
It's
wants
either...
Slow Trot as far away from her as possible, but Harp is extremely useful.
Yes, so yeah, she's either chasing after Harp or going to Death Ponies. That's the two things that can happen. I don't think she's just going for no reason. Just to hide. I don't think she's running away from the Appaloosans. But yeah, it was obvious the NCRCF should just show up.
I want to ask you something, Takeshy. Why do
Yes?
you think this Espresso is so bothered by the NCR showing up?
I mean, he was never a fan of them. It was mentioned before.
But why?
I have no idea why.
Okay.
I have absolutely no idea why. It was not mentioned. I don't think it was mentioned anywhere why they are not a fan of the NCRCF.
I'm kind of thinking it's because he's a corrupt government, and the NCR is more lawful. He can be less crooked with them around.
I mean, we saw how the president worked. Lawful. It's a lawful slavery, right?
Yeah, be that as it may, it is lawful.
But yeah. That is right, the NCR. Without the NCR, we just were one big target for every raider in the wasteland. And yes, I accept. I actually think Willow is right that they need defense. He just forgot one extra thing. Not just without the NCR, without the pony power that were inside the mercenaries, blue skies. No, it was mostly the Desperados who had the raiders away from the town. If we think clearly about this. Because they were clearly outside of the town.
All things considered, though, I wonder how successful the festival was.
You can probably say it was fairly successful. It doesn't get it properly explained, but you know, just think of the summer sun celebration. But you know,
I mean, they did get a lot of money for it. I mean, they did it for the traders, right?
Yeah, it's best left up to the imagination, put it that way.
I mean, they are still not gonna be happy about the NCRs. They may glance in my way. Oh look, a fucking NCR ranger just shoot me already. I turned it over to them, making it nice and slow to piss them off. Hello, Espresso. Willow? I'm here to inform you that 20 NCR troops have arrived to help stabilize the town. More are on the way. I do hope we can find common ground in these troubling times. Willow sank into his seat. He grabbed a bottle of whiskey. Espresso on the other hoof just glared at me and yelled, "Get the fuck out!" I wish he could see me smile as I told him. Also, to ensure we help serve the ponies of New Appaloosa, to the best of our abilities, we will be holding election within a month's time. As the new members of the MCR, we look forward to your cooperation, Mayor. An election. To take over the mayor of the town. The special chucked the full bottle of booze at me. It bounced off my helmet harmlessly and shattered on the ground. Get out! Gladly, I told them as I turned to leave. I barely contained the chuckle as I left, since pissing off that sack of Brahmin shit had been something I wanted to do for so long. Sorry, what always does? Ossia business only. The lieutenant told one of our new citizens. I stepped out. I saw it was a griffin. No, a hippogriff. Shit, it was Longslide. Along all the creatures in this town, it was among the few I was not ready to deal with. Yep. And we know that he doesn't know a lot of things. He looked at me, and I pushed the lieutenant aside. Good. I need to talk with one of you assholes about the damn our custom order your superiors keep requesting. It's what my father did, and he's not around to do it anymore. That is gone? I asked in shock. Longsight froze. His eyes widened as he looked at me. His eyes went from my helmet down to my talons, then further back to my hooves at my flank. Then snarled. Skipper! I took off my helmet, unsure what to say. I'm home. We both said nothing as we stood there. The painful long moment was only broken by a filly crashing into Longsight. Uncle! Uncle! Look what I drew! The filly yelled as she held up a yellow piece of paper. It had a crude drawing of a blue pony with a green mane and tail. She had some same pink fur as I and Dad have. I didn't know that. That's the first time you mention how they look like. But with a thick green mane, her talons and wings, and tail were that of a griffin. But she had a cute face of a pony, similar to that of a mare I loved. Seeing this little filly sent a pin into my heart, since I knew who she was. Longsight bent down and took the drawing as he pat it down on the head. Nicely done, Bridget. That looks just like Star. He then looked at me, glaring with anger that had been smoldering for over 6 years. Now, Bridget, why don't you go get your cousins and meet me back at the compound? There's someone you need to meet. With a big grin on her face, my daughter ran off, skipping with excitement. Getting up, Longsight passed me the drawing of Star Charter. You're fucking late as usual. Now finish your business and come home. There's a lot of shit you need to make up for. I couldn't argue. I didn't have the right. Fine. But first, tell me where Star is. I need to apologize to her for everything. Longsight sighed. Sorry, but that's impossible. My heart almost stopped. My mind raced with the worst conclusion. What do you mean? Please tell me she's not also dead. My mother pointed to a board near the entrance of the mayor's office. It was covered in notices, long and fulfilled, but had 3 new wanted posters. One of them had the drawing of Star, but the wavy name was far longer, almost covering one of her eyes. Name? You mean Maine, right? I was like, wait, name? She is far away from here now. Likely she will never return, Longsight told me. I looked at him, in genuine shock. What happened? I'll tell you all about it later, when you come home. Longsight beckoned me as he turned around and turned it off. All I could do was watch. Actually, I'm kind of happy that Skipper came back. Because with this, if he stays, I don't know if he can stay because he's with the NCRCF. But if he can stay, at least Bridget doesn't have to go up without anyone. She will at least have a father to look up for.
The joke about it is that he left to become a mercenary and went to the wrong place and ended up becoming a ranger.
Oh, I didn't know that. We just heard that he just left. That's all we knew about him.
He left to become a famous talent, basically.
I mean, he was not famous and not a talent.
Nope.
It reminds me of one of the Bud Spencer Terence Hill movies. When they go into the police office to rob a bank. And they become police officers. Basically what happened to Skipper, right?
Well, not the robbing a bank part.
I mean, he wanted to join the Talons, but he went to the NCRCF. I want to become a No, I want to join you.
Reminds me of a premise of a story I wrote earlier, although it was a story within a story, about a pair of bumbling criminals who try to do bad, but they do so bad at it, they accidentally end up as heroes.
Yeah, what happens with the supervillain who actually saves everyone? Meanwhile, my mind was a mess. Lieutenant whistled loudly. I think I might know what's going on, Ranger. Hate to be in your hooves. Shut up, Lieutenant! That's an order! I growled. He saluted and got back information. I reached over and tore Star's poster off the wall. As I looked at it, I also pulled out a small box from my pocket. Inside was an old wood ring I found and polished up. Gripping both tightly, I didn't know what I will learn from my brother, but I did know one thing. I should have never run away. This time I started taking responsibility. He wanted to propose, but it's too late.
Indubitably.
He was just several days late. Nah, he should have come back a lot earlier to save everyone.
Mm-hmm. It would have at least saved Star a lot of trouble.
I mean, Star only joined here because of this. Because of Slowthought and Star. I mean, Star. Star joined because of Star. Because of Harp and Slowthroat. She was not good with the deputies, but still, she was not put on a wanted poster. Oh, okay. There's a lot of cuts in this.
Yeah. So this is the epilogue part.
In a time after the Lightbringer Festival, New Appaloosa would go through that dramatic change. Without the protection of the Vigilant Guardian, the town would be annexed by the ever-expanding New Canterlot Republic. Oh, that's NCR? I just realized. What the rest of it? The CF?
Well, the NCRCF, that's a New Canterlot Republic Correctional Facility.
Oh, okay. So it's just NCR, this one. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's based off of the Fallout New Vegas NCRCF, which is...
I really thought that the NCRCF and the NCR are the same thing.
Yes, and kinda, yes, and no. It is basically a prison run by the NCR.
Okay, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense why he doesn't know about this. Becoming the new nation's westernmost territory. For merchants traveling from the west, the town would become the final stop in their journey through the wasteland and their return to civilization. For those seeking independence, New Appaloosa became a symbol of NCR's insatiable hunger for territory and control. But for the citizens of the NCR, the next thing of the town was simply another example of Equestria slowly recovering and slowly becoming unified once again. Yep, it looks like classical Fallout epilogue, where every location and major character results are summarized. Oh, that's what's going on, okay. Mayor Presso knew his time was up. All his rivals were part of the NCR, and they knew how to deal with him, unlike the townsfolk of New Appaloosa. Before even the first political smear even reached the top, Espresso had poached his things and vanished. The void left behind helped the NCR transition to their new citizens, to their new lives as members of the NCR. Though still plentiful in number, the remaining deputies were shattered by deaths of Ashy Oaks, and further devastated by the evidence of her murdering Hardballer and the raid of the Desperados. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That they have the evidence. They would quickly disband until there was only a handful left. Many found small settlements in need of a protector far off in the wasteland. Deputy Philo never quite recovered from the loss of his hero and mentor, but was first affected by the knowledge that he had done nothing to help Ashios from herself. Though doing his best to take up her mantle as the sheriff of New Appaloosa, he only lasted a year before passing on his badge. Supported by his wife, Willow found refocus his life to care of his family and attempted to start a farm just outside of town. The New Appaloosa General Store stayed as it was, tended to having moved diligently. What did change was that things were now a lot quieter for the stallions since his wife, Kurt Gold, ran off with the town doctor along with his kids. Who would have thought? Though lonely, he was also a lot more at peace and would soon remarry to the dancer Rusty Clever and adopt her daughter and a newborn son. Some pony who would actually care about him. Strangely, though not strange at all, that makes sense at all. Strangely, though not strange at all, to those who knew, they looked more like a family than Heavy Hoof had with his first wife. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The practice of chain gangs would be banned soon after Karate took office as president of the NCR. He decried it as slavery under a different name. This led to the NCR having to procure cheap materials through more diplomatic means, which resulted in the quarries of the New Appaloosa having bigger inflow of money and able to bring in more workers to break rocks. This also had the benefit of providing NCR more taxpayers in which to support the system. This in turn painted Calamity as an economic genius, even if he had no idea that that would happen.
The ironic thing though is Rusty Cleaver, who used to be a former raider, that right?
Yes.
Ended up being a stable wife for Heavy Hoof.
Yeah. Hilariously enough.
I mean,
But they're not the smartest tools in the shed, so.
the smartest tool.
Yeah. Also, Calamity, that's mentioned as the new president of the NCR, was actually Little Pip's first companion and friend in the Wasteland.
Oh.
So he actually appears very early on in the original story, and is there until the very end.
Okay. Obviously, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's also the husband to Velvet Remedy, Little Pip's other companion.
Okay. I mean, they basically did the same, but without the lashings, without the slavery, basically.
Yeah, the more capitalistic than just do it and don't complain.
I mean, this is fun with most of the nations. They pay you and they get back most of the money because taxes.
Yeah. Death and taxes. And cockroaches.
And cockroaches. I mean, no, they are not cockroaches. They are rat roaches in Wasteland.
Radical roaches with sunglasses.
The followers of the Apocalypse would eventually return to New Appaloosa, taking over the void that Equestria would leave, after found out to be a fraud. His medicine was nothing more than sugar pills and diluted scams. Under supervision of Velvet Remedy, a proper clinic would be finally made. The health of the citizens would gradually improve. The New Appaloosa would suffer from care abuse for the foreseeable future. The new clinic would at least ease their pain as they slowly recover. Yeah, this was probably because of the blue skies.
Yeah. Without a Blue Sky's influence, that the town could recover, and then with the followers of the apocalypse taking up the mantle, it pushes the health up even further.
Yeah, it does. Kermit is awesome character actually in Fallout Equestria. He's kinda element of loyalty character in it. If you watch my reactions, you know how much I joke about the element of loyalty. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. If we refer to loyalty as Rainbow Dash. Hopefully that Calamity is more loyal. Shall we move on from New Appaloosa? Staying in Junction Town for a time, she worked on making a medical scanner device. She tirelessly attempted to recreate the technology that would undoubtedly help save many lives. The notes she copied from Soto's Spitbox would rattle in her ancient mind, along with the name of Dr. Lifebeat. The name translated to Ukushaya Quampilo, which happens to be the same name as her grandfather had. The thought would drift from her mind as she refocused on her work. The future was far more important to her than the past. There are a lot more connections than we thought. With an influx of customers, the Ruffled Feathers would continue to be what it always had been, a wild and raunchy place for any creature to be unwind. Its owner eventually had to expand the joint to hire more staff to manage it. In time, police from all over the NCR would come to take the tavern, probably, looking to get their start as dancers and entertainers. Zulu names. Lady Sunrise would later retire from her job at Ruffled Feathers, after having been scouted by Apricot. With the NCR in power, the discrimination against the parasite was lifted, legally at least, and the most popular that's a strange way to write it. The most popular mare in town could finally spread her wings, literally. With her cheerful disposition and skills she had gained from the Ruffled Feathers, her popularity would only grow. She would quickly become the manager of the saloon. But later Cloudy would find a new partner, the simple mare that moved from the west onto hearing about New Appaloosa, and strangely enough, already knew Cloudy by name. She learned from a friend she had made out there. I wonder who. They never found the element of magic. You know that friendship is the magic. They just never knew it. Rasjane would relapse in her alcoholism and nearly passed away only to be saved by her son, Copperfire. Her near-death experience would do little to cure her from her deeply embedded trauma. But she was forced by her son to regularly visit the new clinic. Under the protective eye of her son, she would improve. Slowly but surely she would become a mother Star knew she would be. Nothing much changed for the Gunhunters, though they were now far busier than before. They later called in for more cloud. Called in for more claws to assist them with the others. For a pony heading into the wasteland, their first stop, after getting drunk at the saloon or the Ruffled Feathers, was always the gun hunters. This provided plenty of reliable and new guns and ammo. Raiders would become rarer and rarer in this region, as every pony had a gun they could rely on, and enough ammo to protect themselves and their family with.
Dice, you did use the correct 4, unless you meant the number.
No, it's correct. I don't think they called him 4 claws. Just more claws. It is the correct one. Longsight is recognized as the new leader of New Appaloosa branch of the Gun Hunters. Would find little rest in the years to come, between being the father of 5 and the inventor of a new line of motor wagons, which he just started calling them carts for short, his work would never end. When he rode in the fleet of the NCR transport carts with his family, he truly felt happy. Even more happy when he got to test out the NCR's new machine gun attached to the cart's gun nest. Machine gun that uses bullets. The NCRCF would be left as a ruin, later reclaimed by scavengers. It was taken apart bit by bit. The only thing that would remain of its existence would be the broken foundation and the strange circle of ashes that smells of sulfur. A strange circle of ashes, right? Residents of New Appaloosa would finally finish what the Lightbringer started, and Panama sealed Stable 24 using explosives to cave in the tunnel leading to the rusty cork-shaped door. Tales of the monsters that once called it home would persist. All could at least sleep soundly knowing that no longer could monsters come from it again.
Yeah, no, that stable was in the original story as well, filled with chimeric monsters.
Yeah, I was like, wait. I don't remember Stable 24 being mentioned in this.
Yeah, no, in Desperados it got filled up with raiders. It was the three-part raider chapters.
Oh yeah.
The Blood Moon Raiders.
Blue Skies would continue to do business with the region, taking no responsibility over what happened to the Desperados, or for the cut creams being distributed to the market. They were after all a simple guild of merchants, not a single company. If any members were found breaking any law, they did it independently. It also helped that they made friends with some of the higher-ups in the NCR, who may have pulled a few things to keep eyes where Blue Skies wanted them. Still, rumors of their less than civil business practices persist. Because of that, few politicians in the NCR would openly support them. And that's how Blue Skies liked it. So, is Victor the leader of the Blue Skies, or just that part of Blue Skies? It sounds like
she's more or less the founder, but since she actually has to inhabit a new body every now and then, they've had, quote unquote, several leaders.
Okay, so she is still kind of a leader, but she's only leading one part of the Blue Skies, not the whole mercenary group.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
But she probably still can issue orders to the others, to the other groups, if she wants to.
Actually, she's issuing them pit bucks to wear.
Oh. Then it makes sense. Victory would continue to the tour of the NCR, spreading music and cheer, along with being followed by fans whenever she went. Few would ask about the ponies that would go missing, who had followed her since ponies went missing all the time in the wasteland. When her tour was over and Victory could rest, she simply disappeared from public view and could not be found unless she was scheduled to appear. But one question was asked by those not interested in her music. How was it that she could so easily whip a crowd into a frenzy by merely staring at them alone? Ha! Good question, right?
Yeah, Victoria's actually predates Fallen Equestria as characters go. And she was always, before even ponies and all that stuff. And she was always a somewhat psychic character that could influence others. Yeah.
Yeah,
So this is yeah.
She's the one who learned earlier that the evil eye can be used to not evil purposes. Even if the intent is evil, you don't have to just share negative emotions. But it will bounce back, as all young foes tend to do. But not once did she stop thinking of her mother. When her father finally returned home, the filly had only one question for him. Can we go find Mom? Obviously. But the question is, do you want to find her or not? She is not just wanted in New Appaloosa, but wanted everywhere in the NCR.
I can imagine she had other questions for him too.
Yep. And I have a feeling that at one point, probably when Bridget is a little bit older, a lot older, they are gonna find her. I definitely have a feeling about that. I mean, she did say that she wants to come back after she finished with everything, but was that true? Good question.
Last paragraph.
The wasteland has many tales, some good, some bad, and some of them mutated. The tale about the new Appaloosa shootout will become quite popular and exaggerated as tales go. It started with 2 ponies falling from the clear blue sky and ended with a bloody shootout with a legendary sheriff turned mad mare. The 3 ponies who broke out of the prison and encountered revenge would receive names like so many wasteland legends. But only one stuck. The Desperados. The question is, why are they... I mean, the only reason they are still wanted fugitives is the reason that they broke out of the NCRCF, right?
They also killed the sheriff, so...
I mean...
Like Ashley said, you know, and you surmised, Ashley had a lot of ponies who respected her.
Yeah, she had...
Yeah.
In the past, before they put out the evidence that she shot defensive-less Griffin.
She had a lot of ponies that would not care.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sort of like hearing about Wild Bill Hickok getting shot, and then later it's like, well, you know, he was kind of crooked and he shot the wrong person once. Well, Calamity Jane's not going to give 2 shits.
But yeah, it seems like in these stories that they are telling the 2 ponies falling from the sky are actually not, I wouldn't say heroes, they are the vigilantes here.
Hey Takeshy, why don't you write down in the comment section what you thought of the story?
What? I didn't hear that.
Why don't you write down in the comment section of this chapter what you thought of the entire story?
Of the entire story. Ooh, let me rethink everything that happened. There is a lot of things that happened in this story, right? Starting with the time travel.
Yeah, like around 452,000 words of story.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that what I want to write here is not gonna happen today. I will definitely write something here, probably a lot, because I will probably reread most of the stuff, or at least skim through most of the stuff before I do anything. Because I mean, when did we have the first chapter reading? It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was some point last year.
Let me see here first.
Yeah, check back on your records of your YouTube channel.
I'm still going. It was in July. Wait. It was in July 1.5 years ago. It was in 2020.
2020.
July. July 30. So it's basically exactly the middle of the year. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of back reading later on. I'm not gonna read through all of this, but I'm gonna skim through most of the stuff so I can remember what happened. I definitely have some things that are just hazy, what actually happened. I mean, What is this, like 80 chapters? 84 chapters, right? No, 78. Plus...
82. So 82 independent chapters. Because you have the intermissions as well as the prologue and epilogue.
Alright, what do you think of the story based on what you remember right now? And you can
Oh, that was my elbow. Sorry.
Funny bone.
Yeah, it's a funny bone.
It's funny for everyone else.
Not for me. It just hurts. But yeah, there is a lot that has happened in this. And there were a lot of things that went differently of how I thought it would go. I mean, Star leaving the town was absolutely happening. We know that. There was a lot of time when she could have left for her old home, which is the Blackwaters, right? Is it what it's called?
She originally grew up on the Blackwater, which was a 2 ships welded together, 2 large ships, and turned into a floating city.
Yeah, she was invited back. She could have left anytime. If Skipper had come back at that time, there would have been no repercussions here.
It would have been a very different drama going.
Yeah. I mean, then Skipper would have to deal with his father, right?
Yeah, Skipper had returned roughly around that time. Likely it might have been Longslide that would have gone out to sell the guns to the Desperados.
Yeah, I mean, Ashley would have definitely went out of her way to get in the way of Desperados at any point.
Well, that likely would have still happened. The difference is there would have been less tension between her and Longslide than there was between her and Hardball.
I mean, we know that Slowthroat definitely would have been there.
Yeah, but the main thing is a lot of the conflict that they had to deal with was the going on between Ashy and Hardballer. Hardballer was already ready to move on, but Ashy was still stuck in the past.
Yeah. So yeah, there has been a lot of actually really good chapters. I'm sad that Star left Bridget at home, but it makes sense. She can just charge him with the kid in her grasp. I mean, they are going to Despolis and the war, at least at one point, and she intends to go back to the Blackwaters. At least that's what she said in the last chapter.
She's off to get some revenge.
I mean, it's not sad that she's going for revenge, but she's returning home.
Well, basically, there's some bad ponies that need to be punished. Basically, as what she said.
The real question is or are they, all of them, are being chased by all the NCR, or just Appaloosa has the wanted posters on them?
Neither, because it's more of a bounty. So,
I mean,
how I say it is, the new Appaloosa is not going to really be able to do much of anything, and the NCR is mainly just going to put up a bounty and let others deal with it, because they probably have. Politically, they have to denounce them, but also politically, they don't want to dip their toes into it, you could say.
Yeah, this is what I was asking, if the bounty is global or not.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have to work in bounty hunters once Desperados starts up again. But it's definitely not going to have the NCR coming straight for them. If they're heading into NCR territory, yes. But they're going north and then they're going west.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Then
Yeah.
okay. So,
So-
just individual bounty hunters may come after them, but not actual armies.
It's not a Bonnie and Clyde situation, put it that way.
Yeah.
If you know about American folklore.
I'm still curious about what Slaughter is gonna do. He's definitely gonna go to Desperados. I don't know his star. It sounds like the star is gonna have her own different story on the Blackwater. At least to me, at this point.
It's still pretty far away. Stories go because as I said, I still have to do their journey north, and then them dealing with the Equests in the west.
That's definitely the first things.
Yeah, how I originally plotted it was going to be several short stories for them going north. The big story is the war with the Equests, and then several short stories of them going south, and then it's going to be 2 larger stories, them dealing with the pirates, and then them in Desperados, and that may actually be wrapped up into one story.
Yeah, it really sounds like to me that they are gonna separate at one point, but that's definitely up to you.
Maybe it as I said, it's still a long distance away, and there's like a lot of things I have to kind of figure out what I actually want to happen, as well as the time scale of what's going to happen. Because it's either this is going to be stories that happens over several months to a year or 2 for these characters.
Yeah, there is a lot of time to write stories like that. I mean, I know I haven't even started writing my own. I haven't even written a word.
You know, I've barely got started trying to do something more original. But yeah, no, what I generally have in mind for the next 3, and these are going to be 3 smaller stories. There's one that's clearly dealing with PC's farm, the pony from early in the series that Ashy almost shot.
Yeah.
And PC is a main character from a friend's story called Better Days, and she pops in a few other stories, including the one he's currently doing. She makes a guest appearance and blows a lot of shit up. But here they kind of arrive at PC's farm, and the general story I'm planning on is a conflict that has been started by Golden Harvest Farmers Union.
Yeah, I was surprised that nothing happened with PC. You just introduced her. She's here, and oh, I'm leaving.
Well, let's put it this way: if anything actually happened with PC, there would be a lot of dead ponies, and she'd be leaving.
Yeah.
You know, she's basically like a max level character, and she has like many names, which one of it is the 6-gun mare, meaning she can literally pull out 6 guns on you and not break a sweat. So she's not going to actually be front and center in the next story. She's just going to be a kind of a main character. But the main story is the Desperados. The 3 main characters have to resolve a conflict between miners and farmers, and the farmers being ponies that were transplanted to like grow crops. Except Golden Harvest Farmers Union doesn't know how to grow crops; they just know how to kick their competition out. And so it's I'm trying to remember the characters. The main bad guy is going to be Linear, and he's going to be supported by Quick Trot. And his whole goal is to try to push PC out, but he needs materials and guns. And the miners are literally sitting on top of a weapons cache that had been left behind by the ministries.
Oh, of course.
And it's going to have its own backstory and everything, and I'm going to basically link it to someone else's story that's writing, where the miners are related to a company called something Miners Unlimited. I can't remember the name, but it's like a major faction in his story, Like that company still survives. They're somewhere far away. And basically, it was the Ministry Morale raided their mine because it turns out they were kind of traitorish, and it had a whole bunch of guns they weren't supposed to have. And so the descendants of those ponies have come back to reclaim their land rights, not knowing that there's a shit ton of weapons inside the mine that were never taken out and are locked away behind magic.
Of course, magic.
Yeah. Well, magic barriers and bubbles left behind are actually fairly common, often genetically locked. So if you're related to a ministry mare, you can go pass through, which means most of your rangers can pass through because a lot of them are related to the apple family. So it's a common trope in a lot of FOE stories. So basically, yeah.
Yeah, we know that the artifacts are much stronger than actual normal unicorn magic, so...
Yeah. No, if I remember correctly, Little Pip, the main character of the original story, she's actually a descendant of both Applejack and Sweetie Belle, along with her friend and almost everyone in the stable.
Wait. A descendant of both Applejack and Sweetie Belle?
Well, it's 200 years. Almost everyone in the stable are very close to becoming inbreded because they never left the stable. And Applejack and Sweetie Belle were in the stable when it got sealed. Applejack and Sweetie Belle did not have kids. Put it that way. They had their own family, and those family members had more family. And after 200 years, the gene pool is starting to get a bit thin.
Okay, that makes sense. Wait, what?
Yes. This was actually a plot point in Fallout 3 when if you ever go back to your vault and you help your best friend take over, she actually brings this up with her father, the overseer, that they're very close to all becoming inbred with each other.
I mean, that happened in actual literal history as well.
Yeah. So that's the case with Little Pip stable as well. But yeah, no. If Little Pip had come across any of these barriers, if they were set for the Ministry of Wartime Technology, she would easily be able to pass through it, since she is a descendant of Applejack.
Yeah, so they messed up.
Well, these barriers weren't supposed to be up for 200 years.
I mean,
when they couldn't keep. Yeah.
It's dependent on how they say Little Pip. Is she a raider? Is she a hero? Because it depends on what viewpoint they are using it.
Well, the bubble's not going to know. It was set up 200 years before she even existed.
Yep.
But yeah, no. This is what I know I'm going to be doing with the next story, and then the story after that is going to be either. Oh yeah, and I think that story is going to be all Star Trek. So there's going to be certain characters that's related to mother and child relationships. So PC has 3-4 kids. As far as I know, I'm gonna have to talk to Gamma and get names of characters. But another character I want to introduce is a character from one of my one shots, which is Rook, who is a veteran mercenary. And her story, I'm not sure if you went and read it. No, I don't think you did. But that one is extra level depressing at the ending. But she's also the mother of the. You remember the merchant? Was it
There were a lot of merchants. Yes.
Yeah, the one that became close with Harp.
Okay. Yes.
Was it Moody Peddler?
I'm
thinking of someone else. But his wife is from a mercenary clan.
Oh.
And Rook is actually her mother. So likely Moody Peddler and Keep are gonna appear in the next story, as they also end up going a bit north to peddle their wares. So it's gonna be a weird thing where the town where all the miners are, they also have a sheriff, except the sheriff is just a drunk, off her gourd old mare with a young son that's just kind of dragging her around.
That's fun
And-
because I like the Moody's character.
Yeah, he's very cheerful, and his wife didn't get much of a character introduction. But it's going to be very. I plan on it being a very funny interaction as when Moody arrives, and his wife comes out and looks at the sheriff. They look at each other, and it's like, "Mom."
I mean,
of course,
we know her. His wife is a little bit different than other ponies.
Yeah.
To begin with.
But and it's gonna be like elements of. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of thought into it because I need to make it so that I can calm Star Charter's character down, because she's going to be depressed. She's going.
I
to
mean,
be angry.
obviously.
Yeah. So I need to have. I think that's the first thing I actually need to deal with story-wise, is to kind of bring her around where she's better. Like, she's still gonna be a little depressed. She's still gonna be kind of angry, but she's gonna be okay. Like,
And because we know her power, it's gonna be even worse for her if he's angry.
Yeah. So that's, I think, is going to be the main theme I'm going to want to do with her character, is interacting with certain characters and parent and child relationships. Meaning, Lenier might have his mother appear as well. I'll have to figure it out. It's the he appeared in one of the.
No, I didn't hear the name.
Oh, Lenier. It was when Hart first worked at the Ruffled Feathers.
Yeah,
and he ended up, yeah.
I remember now.
So
yeah.
that's the general idea I kind of want to do with that story. The next one, or the one after that, is going to be Platinum Hills, and I have certain ideas of what I'm going to be doing with that. But mainly, it's going to be a harp chapter or harp story, and it's them arriving at a trade post called Platinum Hills, which in truth is actually the tomb of Princess Platinum.
Oh. Yeah, it makes sense if it's a harp story then.
Yeah, and so it's going to have a deal with a lot of Equestria history. And one of the things I kind of want to reveal is that before there was Equestria, and the reason why Canterlot is called Canterlot is because the unicorns originally came from Camelot.
Oh.
So basically, before there was the Elements of Harmony and the heroes, there was the Round Table, and Princess Platinum's father was basically King Arthur. And if you know about the story of King Arthur, that ended very poorly.
It did, indeed.
Yeah, and so Starsfield the Bearded is basically Merlin.
Well,
which is
he is basically me.
Yeah. Well, he was always basically Merlin, but this is something I had hinted at with the Zebras. So I kind of want to do that, and that one, the main villain is going to be Bishop Purity Spiral. So the Corpse Brigades take front and center, though it's going to be. I'm going to have to figure out how violence breaks out here and there, so that we can actually have the Corpse Brigade be the Corpse Brigade, meaning you shoot them, and they keep getting back up.
So I have a feeling that we are gonna meet Bishop's son as well.
In all likelihood. I'll have to figure out if he survives or
not. What was his name again? Good question.
Something very narcissistic. Utopian Vision.
Wait, did you not mention his name? I don't remember that name.
His name is Utopian Vision, I think.
Huh.
It probably only got mentioned once.
Yeah, I think it only was mentioned once, because then they went to fuck.
And many chapters later. That's the Corpse Brigade takes front center, and then Slowtrot's story, and I'm still kind of figuring out if I should do it or not. But it's gonna be a reference of a reference.
Time travel.
Because there's in my friend's story and his friend's story, there's something that popped up every now and then called Molly Manticore's diner, and it's a diner that's run by animatronics.
Oh,
Very terrifying animatronics, which everyone's terrified and has a tendency for murder.
and they only come
if
out
you're
at night.
Yes. Yeah. No, it was a Five Nights at Freddy reference. So and I think and the reason why I'm kind of iffy on it is because of the recent one that came out. But the joke I would do is that they end up having to stay at a Molly Manticore's super mall, and unfortunately for a slow trot, he's actually a former employee of theirs, and it immediately recognizes him and lets them in instead of fortunately letting them stay outside.
Oh,
And so
it makes sense.
so it's a slow trot having to kind of deal with the past being the past, as well as being them being tormented by Quick Trot, since she can move through technology.
Oh, yeah, I just realized that. I stopped for a second and... Oh, yeah. Victor can take over all... Wait. Can she take over Order, though?
No. Well, Order's... of course, she can't take over Order because his programming is actually originally her programming.
That's why I was like... Yeah, because... Hawk took... Snowto's... Pipbock.
Yeah, she took the remains of the programming inside the Pitbuck 2600. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually was surprised that it didn't happen at all. I mean, she didn't go for them at this moment, so it can still happen, but...
Yeah, so once those stories are done, then I can actually focus on dealing with the Equalists, which will eventually lead to them meeting up with Orthus.
Yeah, as you say, there is a lot of unfinished things.
No, there's even unfinished things that still have to deal with, because Star Charter's second story, there's 2 villains that actually got away in the end. So that's when they're actually going back south along the west coast. They'll have to deal with the Alicorn Razor Storm, who's become a mutated monster.
Oh,
She's trying to be the new goddess with her super mutant army. And then there's Enclave officers that was from the same story that got away, that will need to make a reappearance at some point.
Nice.
I don't think I have any other villains planned.
Any plots you have to do with Slow Trot has 2 other potential avenues to explore. One of those is the fact that he seems to be able to interact with ghosts, and that might be especially important for Harp's scenario. If he's still there, he can actually communicate with ghosts she can't see, but kind of sense, and get more information that way. And the other thing about Slow Trot is the fact that he spontaneously time travels sometimes.
Yes, which is something I'm gonna need to explore every now and then. Which might actually be super useful if I do the Molly Manticore idea, as he'd probably be able to see things they're not seeing during the chapter. And if he's sent into the past, like a mechanic, he'll probably just end up still in the mall, just when ponies are still around.
I thought about that even if they let them in the future, not all the animatronics are gonna work. But if he travels back to the past, the ruined ones are gonna work as well.
If he goes to Princess Platinum's tomb, though, Slow Trot may actually have a critical role there in communicating to some of the spirits of the past there.
Well, there wouldn't be really spirits of the past, but I get what you're saying. He'd probably be seeing things or making connections that the others are unable to do. But the big hook I'm going to be doing there is Princess Majesty making an appearance.
Oh.
Actually, since Slow Trot is kind of slow-witted, he may have come across information he doesn't understand. but when he communicates it to other smarter members of the party, like Harp, she go like, "Oh, I think I know what's going on," but that's Harp saying that, and meanwhile,
Yes.
I'm still confused.
Well, if for the Platinum's tomb, you're not going to see where Slow Trap goes, since it will be only following Heart.
Yeah. I mean, if
So-
Sodot was there, he would not only be able to say that if the spirits are there, but he could also say that the spirits are not there. If they just lie, then there is no poly.
Well, it would also really depend on the place as well, because the whole thing with it was because of where he was in that stable. That was very clearly none of the spirits had left. But for like Princess Platinum's tomb, it would be a very different thing. But I get what you're saying, and it would be something I would have to mull over quite a bit as I figure out how those chapters go.
They are still traveling together, right?
Yes.
Yeah, those are not written.
Yeah, the whole idea is they're going to be together for most of the journey, with Azure kind of narrating, you could say.
What about Azure Dice? He's still there too.
Yes.
Is he going to have any stories directly on himself, or at least play a prominent role? For example, at Princess Platinum's tomb, I think the archaeologist of the party is going to be interested and take notes.
Definitely. And since he has the procession blocker, he can get around things. But yeah, no, it's juggling characters is going to be a real big pain in the butt.
So yeah, I found another loose end here. That Dice is not part of the Desperados.
Yeah, but he's also not even a pony.
I mean, yeah, but is he gonna just go with them?
He seems to be hard to notice even when he's standing in your presence. So he may also have a very slim history. I mean, hardly anyone else can remember him either. Even if because they can't hardly notice him when he's physically standing right there. Well, then he also might leave less of an impression across history, which is strange. The historian of the party hardly makes history himself.
Yeah, I mean, his passivity or perception block is working a little bit differently than the Night Stalker's invisibility. A lot differently. He's not invisible. He's still there. You just see right next to him.
I get the feeling that Azure Dice is not ever going to be famous or infamous in this world.
Well, he's not supposed to be. Because he's an outsider. He's kind of just passing through. Because you have to remember, he's not from that dimension.
I mean... I mean, Slaughter isn't from here either. I mean, he's from the dimension, but not from the...
Yeah, well, Slowchat's just out of time. And he can't really go back home. Azure can't. That's the whole point is... Azure's trying to get himself into a place where his friend can find him and bring him back to where he's supposed to be.
Now, guys, think about that, what you just said. Slow is just out of time.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got an idea. You know, the one story that Azure Dice might actually get some focus on is any scenario that directly involves the potential to get him home. And of all the scenarios...
No, I don't want to do like a quantum leap kind of thing going on.
I don't think that he's gonna go home. Not that he has the two sisters now to deal with first.
The two sisters?
The only scenario you ever proposed that seemed to have the closest...
I meant Slow. Sorry. I meant Slowthroat, not Dice.
The actual Azure home is at this ponies.
Yes, that is the idea. It's that he's going to have to go to Desperados. So the only really major story beats he's going to actually be fully involved with, characters-wise, is whenever the lurkers come back into the fold. Which is going to be an interesting thing.
Because the
because
lurkers
this
are
is-
different than him.
Also, the lurkers are going to be very, very young compared to him. Because Azure's never actually told anyone his age, but I'm going to have to roughly say that he's probably over 100 years old. Like, he's been around for a while, and since he's a crustacean, he can effectively live forever as long as someone doesn't shoot him in the head.
Is that normal for him in his dimension?
Yes.
would
Let's
say
put it
yes.
this way: they have the longevity of lobsters.
I actually don't know how long it is.
Lobsters can live forever.
Can they?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, lobsters can effectively live forever, but it becomes harder for them the older they get, because they get bigger and they shed, they molt less and less. So it's so it's going to be kind of the same thing, but it's less important towards the actual story about who he is, since he's more of a like a observer and a confidant for the main
I mean,
cast.
he always was just an observer. He even said it himself that he's not gonna be really here. Just do things as you always do.
Yeah. Yeah, so he only would actually come into as a more like a main character when the lurkers appear, and that's dealing with Harp's friend. Dang it, now I can't remember her name. Mayal, yeah, Princess Mayal, and the rivalry between her and her sister, Bernice, as well as Bernice kind of being cursed to see the dead.
Ha.
Yeah. Well, okay, but how Harp ended up falling into the mega spell is she actually got stabbed by Bernice and tossed in.
Yeah, I
so
thought
there
it was
is
just not just the falling.
Yeah, she had been stabbed with a chitin spear, or was it a scrap spear? Potato. But the whole thing is that the lurkers kind of split into 3 groups, and then just vanished from the game board. And so Mail actually left to go look for Harp, because she was told by vibraphone that Harp died. Like, Harp's dead, she's gone, and Mail's like, no, I don't believe that. I'm going to go find her. You know, you can think that she's dead, I don't. And then Mail kind of vanished with her pod of crab pony things.
So Azure might become a main character only in the Des Ponies scenario?
Yes. Because since the lurkers can live underwater, they will the lurkers will have a major role going on with Des Ponies. Likely with Bernice's followers being raiders breaking in, so causing some chaos and mayhem, as they do.
Can also breathe underwater, huh?
Yes, they're crabs.
Then he can go some places that the other 3 can't. And that includes Order, I guess.
I mean, Desponis is underwater to begin with.
Yeah, but you can't drag ponies randomly underwater. That's called murder. So do you have any questions? Do you have any questions generally about FOE? Because I did put up the image on the Discord under the
yeah, if I move if I move
Sorry,
things
did
that then you can people are gonna see me moving stuff. But yeah, let me put this here.
It would be in the live reading discussion.
Which one do you want?
You didn't put it on
The first one, second one?
Oh no, I put it under live reading. So, did I put it under images? No, what I was talking about, I was put it in the live reading discussion. The new one you put up.
The one with the guns?
Yes. Because I'm pretty sure both of you are kind of curious about how Fallout Equestria kind of became Fallout Equestria, you can say. So I'm going to be like putting this on a DeviantArt soon with a little extra lore stuff. Though I had already drawn the guns, though they're more hand-drawn than they are here.
Is that live axle in that picture above?
No. Live axle and dead axle are orange and yellow. This is just random blue pony.
And the blue pony.
I'm not referring to that picture, but the one above.
Oh, with the Dualahan?
Yes.
No, that's random Raider. That Raider... this image existed before the twins did.
Oh.
So that's just random Raider. About to die. So...
I mean, the gun is pointed at her in that picture.
Yeah. So I just posted that one because it was mentioning the Dualahan in the in the info roll for Heart. So I'm guessing it's like since both of you don't really know much about Fallout Equestria, then you would have kind of basic questions of like, what is the timeline or something like that?
I mean, we don't really know much about Equestria at all.
Yeah, you're still watching the show, and I don't know how much Quill has watched the original show either.
Well, I finished it.
But
The only episodes I haven't seen is something called 9.5. I only recently discovered that.
well, I guess you don't really need to know too much because Fallout Equestria was actually started roughly before the end of season 2. And so there's like a reason why you don't see a lot of other elements that
Okay,
appear in
I
the
have
show.
a question.
Yeah.
Before, it's probably a spoiler for the actual Fallout Equestria. Why has the war started?
How the war started, it's also easy and hard. It's how should I put it? Resources and pride. Put it that way. Basically, it was Equestria was going through a not an economic boom, but like an industrial revolution kind of thing going on, and they were using a lot of coal to power a lot of their stuff. You know.
Okay,
trains and
so
everything.
Finland fan took over.
Well, no. What basically happened is that Equestria eventually ran out of its coal reserves and started having to source it from other places, and the main supplier was coming from the Zebra homeland. And this is basically the trigger that started the war because it
They
caused
were
them
not-
to be kind of
They were not buying it.
Well, Equestria was buying coal from the Zebras, and Zebras were buying gems from the ponies. And so they had a strong trade relationship, but they had very different cultures. And so what happened was is something eventually ended up having a major disruption between the cultures, which was a pony cruise liner being attacked by pirates while in Zebra lands, Zebra waters. And instead of letting the Zebras go and take care of the pirates, they sent in the Wonderbolts to do it. And this caused wounded pride among the Zebra leadership, who then withhold the coal trade. So they stopped even though Equestria had already purchased a lot of coal, the Zebra Kingdom was holding onto it, going, no, you don't get that coal until you apologize or something like that. And then things just kind of steamrolled out of control as Equestria then just took the coal by force, which then caused a retaliation from the Zebras, which then caused a retaliation from the ponies. And the war just became a back and forth. And this would have been the first 10 years of the war. How I described it as more of a gentleman war with a lot of positioning and not really any major deaths going on. You know, a lot of capturing and trading of prisoners and all that. things didn't turn bad until after the halfway point through the actual war, so 10 years in, when what was called the Little Horn Massacre happens. What happened there was Luna was basically kept out of the whole conflict because Celestia just didn't want her sister to deal with this kind of bullcrap. And so she gave Luna a plot of land and started her own school there. And so this was Little Horn. And so it was Luna's own school for gifted unicorns. And the tragedy that happened there was a bunch of zebra refugees ended up coming into the area, and then a whole lot of confusion happened, and the school got blown up. Or I would say the school got blown up. That would have been nicer, but what would be later called Pink Cloud was let loose within the area, killing everyone within. Pink Cloud, which is in the FOCE series, known for creating something called a Canterlot Ghoul, which is ghouls that don't die. Like you shoot the ghoul a whole lot, it goes down, and then a minute later they get back up and start trying to kill you again. And the Pink Cloud itself, you cannot wear any inorganic materials while you pass through it, or it fuses to your flesh.
Oh.
So if you ever look up images of Little Pip, you have a few different ones, and one of them is her pit buck fused to her flank, or to her fin line. It's because later in the story she actually has to go through Canterlot that is completely infested with Pink Cloud, and she ends up having her pit buck fused to her arm permanently.
Well, it's already kind of fused to her, right?
Yeah, but now it's permanently part of her. The Little Horn Massacre is when everything spirals out of control because it causes Celestia to step down from power, which then puts Luna in power, which then drives the zebras crazy because Nightmare Moon is now in charge of the Equestria. Luna is not confident enough to really run the Equestria on her own, so she brings the main six in to help her, who then form the Ministries. The Ministries do massive reforms throughout Equestria to further the war effort to actually win it, instead of just positioning around. Which then, for my own lore, pushes out a lot of the old companies and reforms them into ones that are directly governed by the Ministries. Among them is Ironshot, who makes all the weapons. So, like the image of the two ponies. The pony on the left, the guns are made like from different. Like there's 3 different companies involved in those guns. Where the pony on the right, it's all just one company making all the guns, who happen to be run by the Apple family, who has a member who's in charge of a ministry. So you can kind of imagine there's a lot of nepotism going on now. And so that's the second half of the war where. Everything is ramped up. There's a lot of hatred going on. Technology is rapidly advancing faster than they know what to do with. And the main six, who for the first 10 of the years of the war were kept together, and they were being used to make sure no one else joins the war, so that it just stays between the ponies and zebras and everyone stays happy, are now all separated in their own little towers, barely talking to each other. And so you can kind of imagine why things then got so bad that the ponies and the zebras just started throwing nukes at each other. Yeah, and that's how things become Fallout Equestria. And then the story starts up 200 years later when Little Pip leaves her stable to go look for a lost stable member. Or a runaway, you could say.
Yeah, and after that it just escalates. Okay. So basically, what Kofian said is right. The big actual fighting happens after the pink gas.
Yeah. Well, that's how my lore goes on, because they don't really say what exactly happens in the 20 years. But they do say that it was halfway through is when it switches from Celestia being in charge to Luna being in charge.
So basically, they don't even know if it was the zebras who attacked. They just blame them because they can produce the pink.
Well, it's very clearly it was related to the zebras because what ends up killing Luna and Celestia is the pink cloud, which was unleashed by zebras. So it was clearly a zebra weapon that did little harm. They just don't know why.
What about the main six who survived the war up to Fallout Equestria? Coffee and S?
Well, I think there's only one confirmed if you don't count Project Horizons. And that is Fluttershy that gets mentioned in Desperados a few times.
Yeah, I was about to ask, how are they naming the guns? Angel, Bunny, Bloomberg? I don't know about Caramel.
Well, it's questionable if Celestia is even counted as being alive. Oh, sorry, I'm reading Coffin's messages.
But yeah, Coffee, and I'm gonna say that I didn't know anything about Fallout Equestria, so any of this is new for me.
Yeah.
I know I should have started with that one, but
yeah. So basically, a lot of the tragedies in the FOE storyline for the war happens in the second half of the war. Let's see, Big Mac dies protecting Princess Celestia from an assassin. Let's see, I can't remember. I think, yeah. Pinkie Pie becomes addicted to drugs. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things like no one knows what actually Rainbow Dash did. They only knew that she called her Ministry the Ministry of Awesome.
He was just loyal.
Yeah. But in the original story, they don't really talk about too much about what happened during the war, since it's all from Little Pip's point of view, and she only kind of learns things firsthand and from like small messages here and there.
Spike still has messages, so her magic survived anywhere. At least it seems like that they are giving, at least in most. I have heard this theory that it was Celestia who gave Spike the ability to send letters.
Yeah, and I think K-Cat, the author of the original story, thought the same, because there's a big plot twist that involves that towards the end of the story.
And I'm not against the idea. I don't think any other dragon can send letters, so it's definitely unicorn magic.
Alicorn magic.
Same
but yeah,
thing.
no, I don't think Celestia would want messages from other dragons, because that would be not fun with what some of them probably would send. So yeah, no. And the reason why the zebras had mega spells is because Fluttershy gave it to them.
I mean, if it's zebras, it makes a lot of sense. We saw how one zebra was stirring up trouble in Ponyville just by being there.
Yeah, so it was. You can say it was the major clusterfuck happened in the second 10 years, which then ends in Balefire and Tears and Raiders and all that stuff.
So basically, instead of talking things out, they just started blaming each other, and war happened.
Yeah, as I said, not too much is known, but the general consensus is that due to changing times.
Fluttershy's fault?
Well, let's see. Another friend of mine is like doing their own FOE story, but he's going to be doing it in the Pony style. And in his story, it's going to be revealed that it wasn't so much Fluttershy, but Fluttershy through the advisement of Twilight. Like, in the end, it was actually Twilight's fault.
It's always Twilight's fault. We know that.
And the reason he gave is that Twilight was heavily upset with Celestia for stepping down and basically leaving everyone with this mess to deal with, clean up. But yeah, no. Is there anything else you'd have questions for?
I don't think so. Well?
just to warn you, this video is getting 3 hours long.
Yeah, that's why I think I don't think I have too much more questions. I just have to add one more about PC. That you said she's called the Sixth Gamma, right?
Among the many names she has.
Among the many names. And she just
Yeah,
steps in and someone recognizes her that, oh, she is one of the Sixth Gamma. No, I am the Sixth Gamma. Both of the Sixth Gamma.
Yeah, I think it's from Desperados. She was called Executioner Red. In Wasteland Tale, she's the Six Gun Red. I forgot the different names she had in her own story. But yeah, no, PC's has. If you ever want to like read another story, it's not as long as this one, I don't think, and it should be fairly enjoyable. But yeah, she's just like a bounty hunter for a red eye, where then things kind of go wrong for her, and she ends up picking up a very goofy stallion, and kind of just, I guess it kind of goes buddy cop for a while. But it's actually a pretty good story if you ever want to read it.
So yeah, now you can see why you can tell it's Fluttershy's fault. She believed that Mega spells could only be used for healing magic. Zebras repurposed them. Then she forgot the basic rule of medicine. Every medicine is poison in bigger doses.
Yep.
Takeshy, I got a question for you.
Yes?
Do you have your eye on any other story to read next on your YouTube channel?
I mean, I have been proposed some. I didn't decide which one I will do that yet because I just finished up this one. But I think Ilya sent me some that I'm gonna check out which one I'm gonna do. But it's not gonna be Desperados, I think. It's not gonna be Fallout Equestria, that one.
Give yourself a rest from the series for a bit.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about. I think, let me just see real fast, because it's in Discord. Also, yeah, Coffeeon, we have a Discord channel now, if you want to come in. Collection, is it? No, it's not the collection. Reaction request, there we go. You can even check it, it's in the reaction request. That's the thing that he wanted. Those two. I mean, did I put one or two? No, it's two of them. One of them is Ruby Pokemon crossover, and the other is, I don't know, something else. So it's gonna be not even MLP, it seems.
Alright.
But yeah, I think it's time for us to leave because it's actually getting noon here. So I should eat, then I will probably go to sleep because I'm gonna work at night.
Well,
So-
have fun with that.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm actually teaching one of the trainees here at this week, so about first thought you need to watch. I'm gonna put this, copy it and put it here so I can check it later. Is it gonna be does it gonna be a reaction video or just a random one? I'm not gonna do it here right now because obviously we have been live for 3 hours and it can YouTube can block the whole 3 hours for 1 second of copyright.
Yeah. Maybe later. Yeah. Well, anyways, later I'm gonna give you a break now.
But yeah, you can tell me, Coffee, and if it's gonna be just I should just watch it or I should react to it. If it's worth reacting or anything.
In getting through this is the weightiest story you ever read online so far.
Yeah, it's the longest as well. But yeah, now I'm gonna leave. Thank you, both of you, and Kofian as well, to be here.
You're welcome, and thank you for the reading.
Good day and good night.
Same. Oh, it's a song. Then yeah, it. I don't know. We will see. I will probably just record it, and if I have nothing to say about it, I will not put it out. That's the best thing I can offer here. But yeah, thank you for being here, and see you next time. I don't know when next time is gonna be. I still have to. I'm gonna show you this real fast. I have to do this. I will need to finish this part right here. Dun. Let's move it here. That's season 8. I have all of the characters set up, at least the ones that had at least one voice line in this.
Ranking system for season 8.
Yep. I already know who is gonna be the worst and who is gonna be the first. Other than that, I have no idea yet. You can see some coloring already. But yeah, that's gonna be probably the next video. No, I'm probably gonna record a Beyblade episode at one point. But now I'm gonna go and have something to eat. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.